yesterday, and they did it with aplomb. The bats were alive for the first time in a couple of weeks. Tonight, Wei-Yin Chen will take the mound, fresh off a great performance in his last start. The O's and the Twins, the first of three from Target Field, coming up next on Masson. It's the Orioles on Masson, and the road trip continues for the O's, and here we are against the Twins in the first of three. This is the first meeting of the season between these two ball clubs. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Both of these teams come in with identical records. Both of them are in second place in their divisions. The Orioles, though, only much closer to the Yankees than this ball club is to the Kansas City Royals. This should be an interesting series, though. Paul Molitor's put a ball club out there that's playing particularly well at home, while the Orioles continue to have their problems on the road. For the Orioles tonight, it's going to be Wei-Yin Chen. He has something to remember regarding the Minnesota Twins. Let's go back to a time when he got injured and had to come out of the ball game. This is on May 12, 2013. After that pitch on his knees, something hurt. It ended up being an oblique. He would be out for a couple of months, but he would return, and since then has pitched magnificent baseball. These are the numbers he's put up since the injury: 24-14, ERA that's just over 3, opponent batting average extremely low. Everything about Wei-Yin Chen since that injury has been even better than it was before. Jim Palmer, he goes tonight.
We got some notes today. He's got the third best winning percentage of any left-hander. The guys that had better ones were Dave McNally, who I pitched with, Mike Quire. And what do those three guys have in common? They give you a chance to win every time you go out there. And for Wei-Yin, here against the 20s, 2-1. His ERA is 2.65. This is a big ballpark, fly ball pitcher. But again, this is going to be the 16th start. He's given up over 3 runs at once. So again, he goes out there, he throws strikes, he fields his position. And unfortunately, he's a free agent. But he knows what his job is tonight. And, he's just been marvelous for the Orioles.
Interesting matchup because the Twins have won more games against left-handers than any other team in the American League. So we'll see how it goes tonight. And when we come back, since we've just entered the second part of the season, how about a state of the Orioles from the skipper, Buck Showalter. Lines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. After a rainy day here in Minneapolis, it is a beautiful evening for baseball. And for Buck Showalter, this is going to be game 83 for he and his ball club. So we thought we'd ask him about how the team's doing. He certainly has done well since arriving. The 2 fifth-place finishes and then all the way to second, third. Of course, in 2014, finishing first division win. 2015 on the verge. They're only 1 game behind the Yankees coming into this one. So we start with the State of the Union with a question about the Orioles offense.
Well, I keep in mind, you try to keep a heavy dose of reality. They made 4 errors yesterday, but we expounded on it. But it's trusting that track record. But if you look at some things that guys are capable of, and it's that time of year where you multiply everything times 2. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a perfect player. This is very hard to do, and you're always trying to, as a manager, get in between sympathy and empathy, because I've said many times these are the best players in the world, and it's a very hard thing to do. But some things we have to do better, and things that we have and we've improved on, and the grind's there. And you're trying to put yourself in a position to play meaningful games in August and September, and then I like our chances then because we got good people.
How's the manager doing?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters to some people. I tell them all the time, whether my knee hurts or this, whatever. I don't have to play. I really don't. It's about, you do have to take care of yourself. All the coaches, I challenge them all the time. I said, I don't want you to come hang out in my office after the game. Our guys get here so early and work so hard. I want you to go home. I want you to get away from it. That time's very precious from the time the last pitch is thrown until the next day. Because once your eyes open the next morning, you're thinking about, I think my most relaxing time is about from midnight to whatever 30, because I know nobody else is awake, and there's nothing else we can do until the sun comes up the next day. But we all grind it, and we know how much it means to our fans and how much it means to our players, and it won't be because of lack of caring. This is a group that cares, and they get frustrated at the right things.
All right. Buck, we really appreciate it. Thanks, and here we go, second half.
That's it. What do you think?
Wasn't that simple? I think the ball club's done well. I think your starters are going to be a spot where you need a little bit of help, maybe if you can get one through a trade, or the guys you got lower that ERA a little bit.
Well, and I don't ever look like it's the guys here, and what comes our way, because anything that I say about that is a reflection on the people we have here, and I think we could, I think we can be the last team standing with who we got here, and that's why I'll always look at it.
Let me ask you this serious question. I put you on the spot. Should a manager ever say otherwise than what you just said?
No, not publicly.
Okay.
And if someone asks my opinion, and believe me, we have a free flow of information and opinions around here. And someone asks your opinion, you give it, but you don't say it reflectively on somebody. You're always I tell our guys all the time, if you think about the weight your words carry and the reflection they have on your teammates and the organization and your fans, then that'll keep you from stepping on your tail with your tongue. So I try to keep that in mind. I'm not always good at it.
I'm never good at it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, the recent, I don't think it's a Gallup poll, but the baseball poll has him in the second best manager in baseball. Bruce Bochy, who won 3 of the last 5 World Series. So we'll give a little bit of edge to Bruce out there in San Francisco. But, it's funny, the more you talk to managers, like today, Paul Mahler, they played great at home. Hey, congratulations, we're only 4 games over 500, which is exactly, as you mentioned in the opening, as the Orioles. So let's kind of look at it in proper perspective. But what they tell the team and what we hear, well, maybe we hear a little bit different, but what the public hears sometimes entirely 2 different tales.
We'll have part 2 of Buck and his look at the state of the Orioles tomorrow before our ball game. Let's take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. It is 72 degrees. The humidity has dropped significantly today. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Here's the O's starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Paredes, and Jones, Davis, Wieters, and Hardy, Parmalee, Scope, and David Lowe gets a start. Hardy with some very good career numbers in a lot of games against the Twins.
So Phil Hughes, who turned 29 the end of June. A lot of fastballs. Now that's 2-seamers, 4-seamers, and cutters. The breaking ball. He's got a knuckle curveball, and as you can see, doesn't use his changeup a whole lot, and he hasn't. Now this record's a little kind of unusual. 7-6. He started out 0-4, so he's 7-2 over his last 9 decisions. And then you're looking at a guy that last year walked 16 in about 208 innings. So he doesn't walk you. This year the home runs are up. We saw that. Of course, the Orioles pretty much know him in a sense. He pitched against them twice last year, won both of those games, but he's going to come at you. He's a high ball pitcher, and this ballpark is a good place to throw in high fastballs if you can keep, especially if you keep in the middle of the field.
Big ballpark, tough to hit a home run here. Hughes has been on a hot streak. You see the numbers are a little bit high. Opponent batting average against him. Left-handers last year hit only 249. Left-handers have jumped all the way up to that 272 mark this year. He gives up a lot of home runs. He's tied for first in home runs surrendered in the American League, and he's also second in hits surrendered. Yet Hughes comes into this having won 3 consecutive starts with a 2.38 ERA. And we are underway, and that'll be fouled off by Manny Machado. Machado felt that one. That one was down on his leg, and he takes a very long walk after the foul ball on that first pitch.
Yeah, you know he's going to be aggressive, and then he throws you a two-seamer. The bottom drops out, and you hit it right off your ankle, foot, anywhere, wherever it hits, it's going to hurt. Yeah, maybe somewhere on the left instep. Yeah, right on that bunion. Well, he's too young to have a bunion. Turned 23 today, but ball of his foot.
And Machado will put it in the air to center field. Got good wood on it. Hicks going back, and goodbye home run. It just kept on going. 403 feet to center field. You make the All-Star team. It's your birthday. You hit yourself in the foot the first time around, and you get a home run in your first at bat in the ball game.
Well, at least he didn't shoot himself in the foot, obviously. Again, you know, the wind is going left to right. So again, you got a lot of room, and you got the high wall in right field. You got a lot of room in center field. Left center's 377. So it looks like if you're going to hit home runs, we kind of saw this in Chicago. The wind blew every day there. And a lot of balls you didn't think were going to be out. Of course, Manny hit one right down the left field line, and boy, this ball is just drilled.
He just tagged this, and it just kept traveling.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's outside third of the plate. It is up, and that's the way Hughes pitches, and then next thing you know, you're down 1-0.
So Manny Machado, the home run, his 4th leadoff homer of the year. That one's going to go to left. Rosario will come on, put it away. Paredes is retired.
Yeah, take a look at the Twins defense. Pretty good one. 46 errors. Rosario, Hicks, and of course the veteran Tory Hunter and right. Plouffe, Santana, Dozier, Maurer, former catcher, and then Kurt Suzuki doing the catching.
7th in defense in the American League by fielding percentage. Coming into the ball game, the Orioles still number 1. By the way, that was the 5th leadoff homer for the Orioles this year, and Machado has 4 of them. 4 out of 5. Here's Adam Jones. Well, we told you. I mean, we no sooner told you than Hughes is now number 1 alone in surrendering home runs. That one is hit high in the air. The bat went behind home plate, and not quite reaching into the Oriole dugout was Plouffe, and couldn't quite find it. Adam Jones, he's going to go to the All-Star game again. The reserve selections, of course, coming today. Yeah, Adam certainly deserves it.
Yeah, he really is. You can see 5-time All-Star. Kind of hard to believe when you're trying to win. Home field advantage. 4-time Gold Glover.
Well, the Orioles getting the announcements tonight on who's going to go. Machado, Jones, a couple of them. Darren O'Day is going to go. And so is the Oriole closer, Zach Britton. Adam Jones back in. And a great off-speed delivery at 77 away.
Yeah, that's the knuckle curveball. And again, it throws it about maybe 25% of the time. And that was a good one. Of course, the Orioles know all about Philip Hughes, having come up through the Yankee organization. 2nd year with the Twins.
Adam will take it outside. Hughes will carry an 8-5 record against the Orioles into this ball game. So the Oriole hitters have seen a lot of him, a lot of at-bats, 30, 40 at-bats for many of the Oriole starters. Adams had a little luck against him, hitting 167 with 2 home runs off Hughes. And there's that high pitch again. There'll be a lot of those. That one misses 2-2. Jones to be followed by Chris Davis. This Minnesota Twins team coming home after a 4-6 road trip. That one hit high in the air. Shortstop backing up Santana. And he's got it. 2 down. Take a look at our American Standard. Who's hot, who's not, as you look at Chris Davis.
Yeah, and again, you look at all those numbers, and then you see the ball that he hit out that Avisel Garcia robbed him. Yesterday was J.B. Shuck. You could throw a couple of more home runs. Wind maybe affecting the one yesterday, and then Garcia affecting the one on Saturday afternoon that would have tied the game up. So he's hot. And Tory Hunter, of course, those numbers on the road, he likes to hit here. In fact, this team hits about almost 49 points higher.
Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Chris Davis, 3-game hit streak coming in. He is 7 for 24 lifetime with a home run off use. You're going to see all of these balls up in the air. Consecutive games reaching base. Chris right there now with the leaders currently at 16. Tulowitzki's on top with 33. Mike Trout at 19. And then Chris, Adam Lind, and Paul Goldschmidt. That's consecutive games getting on base. That pitch is down low. This will take on the off-speed delivery and a 1-ball 2-strike count. It's a tough ballpark for left-handers, as Joe Mauer will attest to. If you're trying to hit the long ball, you got to pull it down the line. It is Death Valley in the power alley in right center field. It always has been. It's the one place in this ballpark where the wind can blow in. There is no way for it to blow out. So what you get here is swirling wind in this ballpark that will change from pitch to pitch. Davis will take that one way up high, leaving the count up. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chris. There's that alley where the wind can come in. Now if you pull the ball down the line, you can get the home run, left or right-handed, but not in that power alley. That one into the shift on the ground. The shortstop over Santana. That'll do it. But the Orioles get a lead. A run on a hit. No errors. Nobody left. Manny Machado. Lead-off home run, number 5 for the Orioles. Number 4 for him. Welcome to the All-Star game. 1-0. Offering him a handshake. 23 today. We'll show you some numbers for him later on in the ballgame. Here's the Minnesota lineup. Dozier, Hunter, and Mauer. Bluth. They got the youngster. Sano's going to make the start first time at home. Rosario, Hicks, Suzuki, and Santana. Joe Mauer this season against lefties.
And Wei Chen trying to get to 5 wins. The lowest ERA on the staff. A lot of fastballs. Both sides of the plate. Comfortable. A little bit more to the glove side. Breaking ball, curveball, slider. More change-ups, and again that very low ERA, hits less than innings pitched, not a lot of walks, and the only thing that really jumps out is the home runs, 15 of them.
That'll be fouled off. So we've got 2 pitchers in this game who give up a lot of home runs. And that's about the only thing you get off Wei Chen. He is 8th in the American League in home run surrender, but he's also 8th best earned run average.
Yeah, and he very rarely gives you the free pass. In his third game, unusually, he walked 5. And since then, no more than 2. And that's only on 3 of the occasions the next 12 starts. So you have to earn your way by hitting to get on base.
Dozier at the plate. What a great start he's had to the season. J.J. Hardy at short. That one really went down on him. He makes a fine play to stay with it.
Yeah, take a look at the defense. That ball hitting the lip of the infield. Starts with the infield today. It's a really good one. Machado won the Platinum Glove. Hardy 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. Scope with a great relay. He's back. Parmalee, they know about him here because he came up through this organization. A couple of Gold Gloves behind the plate. Lowe, Jones, 4 Gold Gloves, and then Chris Davis playing very well in right field.
Tory Hunter with some very fine numbers for the veteran who's been rejuvenated this season. 39 years old now. I asked him for the game. I said, you can't be having that much fun. And he said, oh yeah. He says, these young kids have rejuvenated me, because there are a lot of youngsters on this ball club. He loves it. He loves playing with them. He's a mentor for many of them, and a most worthy one. While he struggled overall here at his home ballpark, he's hit in 6 straight games here at Target Field. He's gone 6 for his last 20. There is Paul Molitor. What a start to his managerial career with this ball club. That's been one of the big surprises of the year. Oh my! How far will it go? Way back, and goodbye home run, second deck. Well, the pitchers are living up to their numbers early on.
Wow, Manny Machado, he didn't hit an 0-2 pitch. You want to go in the encyclopedia and look for a horrible 0-2 pitch. Watch this hanging slider. Now, obviously, he didn't want to throw it there. It speeds the bat up. He just thrown a perfect fastball down and away, and I mean, this ball launched.
And just like that, ball game is tied at 1-1. Number 13 on the year for Hunter. And here is Joe Mauer for Hunter. That's his 22nd career home run against the Orioles. He's a 300 lifetime hitter. And Joe Mauer's even better than that against the O's. He will take the pitch outside for a ball. Mauer with a 4 for 11 lifetime off Wei-Yin Chen. Chen gives up his 16th home run of the season. 13 have been hit by right-handers. Mauer off the fist to second base. Backhanded by Scope. Long throw will get him. 2 down. Boy, those 2 home runs were enormous. They said that one was 411, and it went into that upper deck. And I got to believe the one that Manny Machado hit was longer than that, because it was in towards that right side of center field where there's a 403 mark. And then it went back.
And, well, of course, the mezzanine, that's where Torrey's landed. But the other one was the opposite field.
Yeah.
And
pitch will be taken away for a ball. Here is Plouffe. He's had good numbers off Chen in his career. 4 for 11 with a home run. Trevor Plouffe 1-1 ball game. And the pitch taken down low. Jim mentioned how this ball club has played well at home. Their record here is 25-15. They've got the 4th, tied for 4th in best win percentage at home in the American League. That's there at the knees for a strike.
Or somewhere around the knees. Yeah, they just hit so much better. They're 276, 226 on the road, so it's a huge difference. Run per game is almost 9/10 of a run better at home. ERA lower here, a little under 3.5 runs a game. So the run differential, there were only 4 runs difference on the whole year.
Yep.
But at home, much.
Well, there's an unusual free pass as Plouffe is on with 2 down here in the first inning. Let's take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers.
Yeah, so again, this is what the Orioles have done, and this is kind of, you alluded to this when you talked to Buck. You see the wins, Gonzalez and Menace, the ERA, which just went up a little bit. Chen, innings pitched, Chen, again the low average, and strikeout rate. Waldo Jimenez has been marvelous. They're a completely different pitcher from the one we saw last year, who had the highest walk ratio in the American League.
So the runner on at first. And a big hand for the rookie who was called up while the team was on the road, and his first look at home. Miguel Sano is his name. You can see the numbers he's put up. He's the designated hitter. He can play third base, first base.
And he's big.
And he's big.
He's really big.
Delivery to him, and that'll be taken up and in.
Well, one of the great hitters of all time, Tony Oliva, he was down behind the cage, and he said, he looked at this going, he goes, he can hit. Tony out of Cuba, won a couple of batting titles. And what he said was he knows the strike zone. And for a young kid, not too many 22-year-old kids do that. And then right there trying to make it 3-1. Yeah, you know, it's funny. You talked about a rare walk, Trevor Plouffe walking off of way. And you come into the ballpark if you're pitching, and it happened to me, you feel, oh, I got a lot of room. Then you hang a slider. The guy hits it in the mezzanine. You say, oh, wait, maybe this park isn't as big as I think it is.
Sure doesn't look that way early on.
No.
So no waiting on it here. And we'll take the pitch away for a ball. Again, one of these youngsters who's played pro ball for well beyond his 21 years of age. He started at 16, signed as an undrafted free agent. And he was in the Dominican Republic, San Pedro de Macorís, the home of shortstops. He's not one of those. 2 ball, 2 strike count with 2 down, runner on first, and the pitch way up high, and that'll go full 3-2.
Yeah, and then what happens? He has the Tommy John surgery last year. I mean, he was probably going to make this club. You got to understand, before this year, the Twins had lost 90 or more the last 4 years. They were trying to get younger. They were trying to allow their young players to get some experience, and Sano would have been one of those, except for the injury.
3-2 down. Runner will be going. Delivery. Foul back, and they'll do it again. He doesn't get cheated on his cuts. And he can also play soccer as he kicks that one away.
Well, the Twins do a great job, especially, I think, over the last couple of years. It started with Brian Dozier. When he struggled, back in 2012, they sent him out. When the rosters expanded, they didn't bring him back. And so, no, he kept reading this year, well, he's not quite ready. Gary Ryan, the GM, saying,
he's ready.
Yeah.
Swung on a miss, got one up. So the first strikeout for Chen will end the inning, but a home run by Tory Hunter ties the ball game up. We are 1-1 on homers after 1. Bernie's won 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run hit in our ball game. Play baseball buck scratch-offs, win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Just go to mdlottery.com/baseball. Orioles won the series last year 4-3 against the Minnesota Twins, winning 2 out of 3 here in this ballpark. Shift on as Matt Wieters will stand in. Matt will take the pitch inside for a ball. Matt now in an 0 for 15 as he stands in. 224 on the year in limited games still. That one's got to go to the gap. Will it stay up? Nope, falls in for a base hit, and Wieters is on, so he goes the other way, where he had the biggest hole in the field and a leadoff single. Well, get on board the drama of the second half of the season and save on ticket prices. The 15 Birdland Summer Six-Pack still available. Any 6 games, your choice. Save up to 20% off single-game tickets. You pick the games you want to see. It can be rivalries or things like bobblehead nights and T-shirt nights. Just go to Orioles.com/six-pack.
Yeah, I think off the bat, I thought that ball was going to be caught, and then Eddie Rosario didn't seem to get a good jump. And such a big outfield.
Strike taken by Hardy.
And you got to play a little bit deeper, and then the line drives, if you don't get a good read, are going to fall. And then we've already seen the balls carrying, apparently.
Tough for the outfielders to pick a place to play when that's going on. Can't go far enough to catch the home runs, and you play too far in and watch them go. Hardy, 185 lifetime off Hughes with a home run. He will take that strike. Like a slider in the outside corner. Hughes coming on strong. 29 years old, out of Mission Viejo, California. All those seasons in New York where the Orioles saw so much of him. He was drafted by the Yankees, 23rd overall in 2004.
And then he was the next really coming in New York. I mean, did win 18 games. There's another one.
Hardy on the inside corner.
Yeah, starts it at his front hip. So, talking to Dom Sheedy, the Oriole bullpen coach, and he was with Johnny Sane. He had him 4 years, and it's about movement in the zone. Make the ball move, and right there, that's what he does. Slider away to get strike 2. Slider at him. Make the ball move a little bit. Catches the inside corner.
So Hardy out of there, and here's the former Minnesota Twin. Chris Parmelee back in the ballpark where he has hit a lot. He's got an 0 for 10 going coming into the ball game. Pitch to him will be on the outside corner for a strike. Parmelee for Minnesota played in 273 games. He hit .249 with the Twins. 24 home runs, 85 RBIs. He was a Twins first round pick, 20th overall back in 2006. Phillip Hughes delivery, and that'll be fouled the other way.
Yeah, so it looked like maybe a change up. That's your low pitch. So they know he's a better low ball hitter. They've seen it. And the one thing Hughes, he's around the plate, so he gets you in the swing mode. And now, of course, the 2 strikes, they will put the shift on. Santana, the shortstop, moves really to the second base side of second base. So he's right behind the umpire.
Outfield is straight away. Delivery by Hughes, and he'll just miss on the outside corner. Ball game tied at 1-1. And Parmelee in this ballpark with all those at bats, .234 hitter with 8 home runs. Over at first base, Mauer holding but off the bag. And that one's going to go the other way. He went with it, but it's going to be fouled.
Yeah, we saw him in Boston. He got real hot, hit a couple of home runs his first game against Philadelphia. Went up there against Philly, got some hits, and then they started pitching him up in the zone. And then when Eduardo Rodriguez retired the first 10, he started it. He hit a slider into left center. In that same series, he pulled the ball, a triple down the right field line. He doubled into the corner. So a couple of doubles at Fenway.
Hughes delivers to him again. Pitch will be up high. Hughes on the year has had better luck against hitters in the stretch. Runners on, .245 average, empty .301. Mentioned his high total number, which is that .280 batting average overall. Here at home, he's gone 5-2. Hitters just .238 in this ballpark against him. 2-2 delivery, and again trying to find one of those that'll go down the line and stay fair, but not yet. Stays at 2-2.
Well, for Phil Hughes, I mean, the amazing number when you pitch 208 in the third innings and you only walk 16 batters. This year, of course, struggled early, as we mentioned. They didn't get him a lot of runs, so he started out 0-4. He went 27 in the third innings. Then he went another 103 innings another 103 batters without walking somebody. So obviously feels comfortable where his release point is.
Real comfortable.
Yeah.
That's a ground ball into the shift. That's going to be one. Relay over to first. They turn a double play. A shift double play, no less. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left on base. Ball game tied at 1 apiece.
For my teammates and the name across my chest, so it's humbling that the players around the league, they see that.
Adam Jones, one of those named to the 15 All-Star game among the reserves. There are the outfielder catchers and DH with Bautista, J.D. Martinez, Russell Martin, Stephen Vogt, and Prince Fielder. We'll look at the rest of those as we go along tonight. But again, for the Orioles, Zach Britton, Darren O'Day were the pitchers. Manny Machado made it, and Adam Jones.
Yeah, the reserves are really important because those are the ones that are probably going to be playing the end of the game.
Towering fly ball up in the air, Rosario. It's in the yard, though. Davis is there, and he had to wait for that one to come down. One away, second inning. Now it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Yeah, to finish that thought, in the All-Star games I broadcast or played in, it seemed like games were close. So at the end of the game, you wanted catchers to throw people out. You wanted defensive players. Usually runs are at a premium. Yeah, obviously you want the marquee players, and on that list there were a lot of them. Yeah. They could help you win both with the bat and with the glove and with their speed. That's why Manny Machado, I mean, if he's playing at the end of the game, he could win the game for the American League with his bat or his glove. Same with Adam.
Here is Aaron Hicks, and the off speed by Chen is in there for a strike. Hicks is a switch hitter. He's starting center fielder for this ball club, and a straight up defense against him. And Hicks will go the other way and foul it off. He's hitting .233 right-handed, .236 left. As one of the All-Stars, the Oriole closer. Hicks has had a total of 2 home runs, one from each side of the plate. 0-2 count. Wei-Yin Chen's numbers about even. Lefties, righties. Fly ball pitcher. But the only thing I saw again stands out for Wei-Yin Chen is just getting ahead in the count. 195 if he gets the first strike. 287 if the first pitch is a ball. And that one is put up in the air. Oh my gosh, the sound off the bat. Way back and goodbye home run. Mercy. We have had 3 home runs this game of the majestic variety. Hicks will give the Twins a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and he sprints around the bases. See, 3rd home run of the year, and you know, Hunter had an 0-2 pitch. This is a 1-2 pitch. You think you're making a good pitch. He hung a slider to Tory Hunter. This one, it looks like it's down, but it's down in the middle of the plate. And again, he's a natural right-handed hitter. He gets low. They were talking about how quiet he is from the right side, and boy, he belts that ball.
Whew. It's another one that's well over 400 feet away. Folks still oohing and ahhing on that one. So 2 home runs in the ball game off Chen. Hicks gets just his 3rd, and will give the Twins a 2-1 lead in the ball game. For Hicks, that is the first home run he's ever had against the Orioles. Kurt Suzuki 2 for 5 off Chen lifetime. Will foul that one off. Suzuki doing the catching for Minnesota, veteran behind the plate guy.
Yeah, Wei-Yin Chen's last game, he only gave up 2 runs, but both of them on home runs.
A lot of solo shots against Wei-Yin Chen this season, which is why that big number in home runs has been less abusive for him than it might have otherwise been. In the dirt, Matt Wieters will come out, put the block on it. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Suzuki to be followed by Santana, number 9 in the lineup. Showalter, Oriole manager with the ball club at 43 and 39, a game behind the Yankees coming into today's play. And a ground ball to Hardy. Gets the big hop. And there are 2 down. Get in on the baseball action with Masson. Text the word Orioles to 29292 for team alerts and chances to win exclusive prizes all season long, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Again, that's Orioles 29292 for O's alerts you can't miss. Danny Santana. Santana, the shortstop, takes the pitch outside for a ball. Another rookie, Ian Rosario. A couple of real fine looking rookies. Sano, of course, is that. Very few games under his belt yet. some of the young players we were talking about who are here and playing.
Yeah, Santana, of course, you know, last year he just had one of those marvelous years. You know, he came up, he hit a 1.470 on balls put in play, ended up over 400. Switch hitter, can hit both sides of the plate, and then struggled this year. They loved him. I saw him when Paul Molitor, when the Twins came to Sarasota, we did one of those games. He said, I want Santana to be my shortstop. Now they have Eduardo, you know, that we saw, I can't think of his name, that we saw for the Yankees, and you know, see, they have options, but they like Santana. He can, you know, he played center field a little bit for him, up and down last year. He can play a lot of positions.
Eduardo Nunez.
Yeah, Nunez, and of course Nunez is an option. He's played the outfield. He's played shortstop. He's done all kinds of things for him. But they like Santana, and he's got a great arm.
Putting up good numbers against left-handers. He's hitting .274 off lefties. Now it's only .197 off the righties, and he's had a lot of at-bats against both. Chen's delivery to him, that'll be down the line and foul. 2-1 lead. All the runs coming on the home runs so far in this ball game. Hunter, Hicks for Minnesota. Manny Machado leading the ball game off with a home run for the Orioles. Chen's delivery on the way, and there's a golf shot put up in the air to center. Jones was very shallow. Just wait for it to come down and put it away. So that'll do it, but a 431-foot home run by Hicks has given the Twins the lead. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? Boy, what a beautiful evening. It was ugly virtually all day, and it's a great night here in Minneapolis. Our Major League Notebook, an eye on Chicago tonight. Chris Sale's pitching, looking to become the first pitcher in Major League history to record 10 or more strikeouts in 9 straight. They're playing the Blue Jays. Look at their average against left-handers. Best in the majors. And Mark Burley is pitching for the Jays, 3-0 with a 1.67 in his last 3 starts. So Chicago tonight's got an interesting matchup. Here's Jonathan Scope. Scope with an 0 for 5 on Phillip Hughes. Breaking ball away. Defense straight up on Jonathan. And a foul tip. Welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. Little slider. Carlos Rodon only. Royals get a run in the first inning on an error, and then the Adam Jones double, and then Scope makes it 2-0 very quickly.
1 ball, 2 strike count on him. Right-hander will be way outside with that one, scooped up by Suzuki. And a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Number 1 in fewest walks surrendered per 9 innings, 0.9 walks per 9 innings. Leads the American League. 2-2 pitch on the way, down to third and foul.
I asked Bert Blyleven, who was broadcasting, Hall of Famer, won about 288 games. I said, how does he do it? I mean, 16 walks in 208 innings. I think one of the things, Rick Anderson is not the pitching coach now, it's Neil Allen, but when he came over last year, if you're going to pitch for the Twins, you're going to throw the ball over the plate. So that may be something I think was probably the focus from day one. And of course, he goes on to win 16 games, loses 10. They only score him a little over 4 runs a game. They're getting him over 5 this year. So again, he only throws 16 home runs, only walks 16, and yet so he leaves him in innings and ERA and wins. And then they extend his contract all the way through 2019.
2-2 delivery on the way, hit hard, and that's going to be a base hit. Jonathan Schoop is on, and that is the kind of bat he brings to the Orioles lineup, returning from the DL.
Well, he's a multifaceted player. At least the potential is there. He can hit home runs, and he's a plus defender. We saw that on the relay. And this ball right here, if you reverse, Machado's probably going to catch this ball because he's a shortstop. Trevor Plouffe, while he's a good third baseman, doesn't quite have the range of Machado.
So the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the 3rd consecutive inning, and Hughes doesn't do much of that. He gives up. He has retired 68% of leadoff batters. They're going to play bunt here with Lowe up in at third. Doesn't show that, and will take the pitch inside for a ball.
Yeah, he doesn't bunt a whole lot, but that's Plouffe coming in to take away the bunt. And when you're down by 1, 3rd inning, American League Baseball, you're not giving up and out. May bunt for a base hit, but not with that defense. And that's why they play there.
He has faced Hughes only once, gone 1 for 1 against him. Schoop off first base, and he rifles it foul the other way.
So you can see you don't get a lot of balls. You maybe get balls up. The ball to Manny Machado that he hit for the home run was in the middle of the plate. And the good pitchers, they throw a lot of strikes, but they move it around, and it's almost like they stay to the corners of that strike zone rectangle. You kind of see the pitch track. They're not, you can see edges of the corner, and that's what Hughes has a pretty good ability to do.
Not a big lead at first base. Still now he's running. Here's the throw down by Suzuki, way off the mark. Good backup right there as Dozier got behind to take it. That was going into center field. So Jonathan Schoop picks himself up a stolen base.
Well, it's almost like this was a hit and run, because he keeps looking back, and right there he takes a look, and then the throw not even decent. So Suzuki thrown out 11 out of 53, now make it 54.
It's only about 20%. That's not a very good number.
Yeah, I would imagine the league average year in and year out is guys don't run as much, but it's like 28, 29%. The good guys are somewhere between 40 and 50.
So Lowe's going to get a chance for an RBI right here. Still playing in his Plouffe at third, and that's foul the other way. You got a pretty good combo to run on here with Suzuki throwing out only 20%, and Hughes on the mound. They've stolen 7 out of 9 against him, so both have numbers that say run.
And also, these are one of those critical at bats in a sense, harder to do with 2 strikes for David Lowe. Hit one to the right side. Advance the runner. You got one of the best hitters in baseball coming up. A ball out of his hand. So if you're David Lowe, try to have a quality at bat. Wieters led off, as you mentioned, the 2nd inning, and then Hardy struck out, and then Parmelee. So nobody got advanced. He hits into a double play. Try to get guys in scoring position, which you have, or to third base with less than 2 outs, and put some pressure on the defense.
See if Lowe can get that done here. He's done a great job getting people home in these situations, hitting .353. And a swing and a miss on 1 up and in.
Yeah, perfect pitch. This is why you don't walk people, and this is why you win games. This is why you've gone 7-2 in your last 9 decisions. It's a cutter. It's in. Great movement. Great location. And then David Lowe swings right through it. See where it is. That high home tells you right on the inside corner.
So that'll give Manny Machado a chance for a 2nd RBI. Home run, leading it off. Drove one 400 feet and a strike on the inside corner. And he's got 18 home runs. He came into the day 7th in runs, 5th in hits in the American League. He is now 7 for 14 off Hughes. .500 hitter with his first home run against this right-hander. Runner off second, and that's going to be in there for a strike. Stayed in.
Well, out over the plate, ended up into the mezzanine in right center field. So I'll take my chances in, and he's able to. He threw him a cutter for strike one, and then the perfect fastball. And now he can try to maybe throw that big darting breaking ball down and away. Nope.
Hughes delivery stays in and misses.
See, that's a little cutter, Gary, and that's a pitch when he came up with the Yankees. He had success, did win 13 games, won 8 games, won 18, but he didn't have the cut fastball. So I don't know. That's something that he's added, but it certainly made him a better pitcher. Just gives him more movement.
He's ahead on the count here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They hold the runner close. Dozier holding Scope, and one away with that one, and will miss. Count goes 2-2. Orioles come in, still number 1. Runners in scoring position at 3:06. Had a lot of chances in the series in Chicago in that final game, with 4 for 18 in game 3 against the White Sox, which the Orioles, of course, put away yesterday 9-1. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery, and again it just missed. And look at Hughes. He looked to the sky after that non-call, and Molitor's letting him have it from the Twins dugout.
Yeah, he's gotten this pitch as a strike. I mean, the ball is low, but it's been called. So Las Diaz, you'd like a little consistency, and Hughes didn't like what he saw.
3-2. Runner off second. Foul ball.
Yeah, see, this is what we're seeing from Manny Machado. The bat speed, not because he turned 23 today, but bigger, stronger version, healthier version. You know, the knees had both of them repaired. Bigger, more experience. I mean, that ball is on the inside part of the plate, and he just smoked it.
Great fun is watching the maturity of Manny Machado, that tender age. And he will draw a walk. So Hughes just does not give those up, but unhappy with himself. The Orioles have first and second and 1 down.
Well, they get a little break of sorts because of the 2-2 pitch that he thought was a strike. Las Diaz doesn't call it, so now you get Paredes, who just came in hitting .429 with runners in scoring position. The guy you want up there.
Depending on the day, he's either listed as number 1 or he's not listed at all. He's right on the cusp of having enough at-bats to qualify for the leaderboards. He does qualify for today's game, so he's number 1 in the American League. And he will take the pitch down low for a ball. Paredes has also moved up to have the 5th best average in the American League overall coming into the ball game. That's Buck Showalter was quick to point that out today. Cabrera, Fielder, Kipnis, Iglesias, and Paredes, top 5 averages in the American League. 1-0 delivery on the way, and a big cut as he's prone to take. 1-1. Paredes, the Orioles DH, among the top 3 in all of the DH offensive numbers in the American League. And none bigger than these situations. He and Fielder are the only 2 hitting over .400 with runners in scoring position. Joe Mauer, by the way, is right behind them at .391. Paredes with a 2 ball 1 strike count. Phillip Hughes really having to work here in this inning. The Orioles trying to take advantage of some counts in their favor. Scope on at second base. Machado on at first. Hughes delivers down to first base and foul.
Yeah, the amazing thing about Phil Hughes, and it has a lot to do with his ability not to walk people, 14 pitches per 9 inning. In fact, 2 of these guys, they both throw home runs. They both throw very few pitches. Chen at 15, Hughes at 14. And those are extraordinarily, for fly ball pitchers, low numbers. You know, the sinker ballers, they get the easy outs. These guys got to work for them, but in the air.
Chen hoping for some offensive help. Down by 1, the Orioles. 2-2 delivery on the way. Inside out foul ball. Orioles fight off another one. And Paredes, we've seen him do a lot of that. Despite the fact he takes such a big cut in his at-bats, he nevertheless is able to have extended at-bats, fouling off pitches.
Yeah, Muse is cutting it and sinking it and taking a little bit off, adding maybe. Yeah. And then he tries to strike him out like he did David Loeb and misses.
Just to get your attention.
Well, and then what it does, though, when you're a control artist, and he is, I mean, if you throw it under somebody's chin, and that's exactly where this was, it does open up the outside corner. It changes your whole perspective as a hitter.
First and second, 3 ball, 2 strike count and 1 away. Delivery to Paredes will be put up in the air. He got a lot of that one. Driving it back into the gap on the warning track. It'll be handled. Hicks puts it away. Both runners will move up. Good heads-up base running on a ball that almost got out of the ballpark at the 400-foot mark, but Paredes is retired.
Yeah, home run in Camden Yards, can of corn here. I mean, he does advance the runners, but I mean, he smokes this ball. I mean, hits it high. The wind kind of blowing, we think, at least the flags indicate. Again, easily corralled, and then your runners, because they know the ball is going to be caught, stay in the ballpark, tag up, and get into scoring position.
So the Orioles with 2 in scoring position, and Adam Jones coming up with 2 down. Adam also has spent a good part of this season in the top 10 of this category of getting runners in scoring position. Here's a big at bat. 2-1 score. Twins on top. And Jones will go after one and foul it right straight back. Adam this year hitting .269 right now with runners in scoring position. Phillip Hughes trying to shut the inning down. He's had a very high number in these situations too. Hitters are .280 against him when they have a chance to bring somebody home.
Yeah, .245 last year on his way to 16 wins. So less walks, less home runs, lower clutch numbers.
Pitch on the way. Jones will pop it up, way up. Not a lot of room behind home plate. Maybe enough. There is. Suzuki comes back to get him. So the Orioles do not convert. 1 hit, no errors, 2 left in scoring position. Twins up by 1.
I mean, it's been a great day, and it's been a good big day. So just keep enjoying it, and hopefully we come out with a win today and get a couple hits.
The only thing Manny missed there was he got a home run, so it was a better day.
Well, there are the numbers, and this is all time before the All-Star, aged 23. So second in doubles. I mean, you can just go down the list, right up there, and Mike Trout's what, 23, 24. I mean, you're going to hear his name because he's in the top 5 young players of baseball, and in all facets of the game, and as you mentioned, the maturity coming to the fore. Kind of what you expect out of your, at least, or maybe hope out of your #1 draft choices.
Yeah, you sure hope.
Yeah.
Wei and Chen back on the mound. Second pitch will be fouled off, and quickly he'll jump ahead. Brian Dozier. Dozier grounded out his first time up. Dozier's one of the final 5 who might be selected for the All-Star game. He's on that list that fans get to vote on. The 5 from each league, fans vote, and one of them goes, and Dozier's having an outstanding season, is on that list.
Yeah, as he did last year. I mean, 23 home runs, 18 before the All-Star break last year, stole 21 bases. He is now leading the American League in extra base hits.
And he'll take the pitch outside.
Dead red pull hitter. And that's why they're all, other than Chris Parmalee, his former teammate, playing over on the left side. And they play him, you know, pretty much really almost a step or two to right center in the outfield.
That'll be bounced. Dozier, 45 extra base hits, leads the American League, and only Todd Frazier and Bryce Harper have more in the majors. He's hitting .361, 10 runs scored during a 9-game hit streak he has going against the Orioles. And that pitch is going to miss, maybe a little low outside. 3-2.
Yeah, you know that if you don't get the ball on the outside quarter of the plate or on the inside quarter, I mean, that middle half, those are the balls he drives. And for a little guy, he hits them hard.
And he's on.
Yeah.
So Chen will surrender his second walk. This is a leadoff walk and the first leadoff man on base. That'll bring Hunter to the plate. His first time up. He caught Wei-Yin Chen.
Yeah, strike 1, strike 2, and then boom. Again, Wei-Yin Chen, you can see solo home runs. It's updated. Al Henrik, of course, pitches in Colorado, and then Chen, Shields, who started out 7-0. Phil Hughes is pitching tonight. And then CC and Anibal Sanchez of the Tigers.
Solo homers.
Well, that's fine if you get a lot of runs aboard. He doesn't. Talking about Wei-Yin Chen.
Hunter will swing and miss on that pitch down and into him. 13 home runs now on the year for Hunter. A .300, as we said, lifetime hitter against the Orioles. Orioles hoped they were going to catch him a little bit cold as he came in not having a particularly good road trip that they just returned from, but it sure didn't take long to kind of overturn that with a homer in his first at bat. He will pop that one up. Matt Wieters. He's got it, and that'll be the first out of the inning. The Orioles are going to be returning home Friday when the fan favorite promotion returns. The first 20,000 fans 21 and over at the Nationals game get an Orioles plaid floppy hat presented by Miller Lite. Add to your Birdland summer wardrobe. Instant fan collectible tickets going fast. Get yours. Orioles.com or call 888-848-BIRD. That's Friday against the Nationals. Fans right there look as though things are very serious back home. And we hope that's not the case, but they're a little down right now. It's only 2-1, folks. Hang in there early in the game. As Buck would say, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Joe Mauer lays it down and gets a base hit.
So now, well, he came in for 10 for 19, rolled over on a 2-seam fastball, and now he's 11 for 21. 4-hit night on Saturday. This smart baseball. How many guys? We saw a bunch of guys do that in Chicago, or try to do it. Only Joe Mauer, who won 3 batting titles. Of course, he knows where the bat head is perfectly.
Great style, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a true bunter right there, even though he isn't.
And you don't, and you know as well as I do, you don't, and anybody trying to do it, you don't have to make the perfect bunt. Nobody's flying over it.
Yeah.
The only thing you don't have to do is bunt it back to the pitcher, and you didn't.
Just get it fair.
But it was a real good bunt, though.
So the Twins are threatening now. The ground ball to short could end that threat. Hardy, Jonathan Scope throws to first. They get the double play off Plouffe. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. And Wei-Yin Chen, who gets few ground balls, period, gets a ground ball double play to end the inning. Take a look as they bring you our This Moment in History. It was 2013. Bryce Harper selected to the All-Star game at the age of 20, youngest National League starter in the history of All-Star games. And in 1966, Boog Powell knocked in 11 in a doubleheader. First game, he had 2 homers, including a grand slam, 2 doubles, sac fly, and then got 4 more in the second game of the doubleheader. Boog!
Yeah, Tony Oliva said, "How is Boog Powell?" I said, he's good.
Great.
We get to see him every once in a while. And then you talk about Bryce Harper. He's about 8 RBIs from being out of the RBI leader category in the National League. I mean, if he gets hot like he did early on, I mean, he could be a Triple Crown winner. His numbers are that good.
Yep.
1 point back in the batting title, 2 home runs behind Stanton, who is out.
Davis with a 1-1. Chris will put it up in the air the other way. Rosario. He's got it. Davis retired. He's 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Our PNC minor league report. The arms.
Yeah, well, Bowden comes out of the Red Sox organization. Jones, a lefty. Zach Davies, a righty. So you like this. You really like it. Buck Showalter, very pleased. As would. Just because the club is it's a good club.
Yep.
You know, they pitch well. They're a good defensive ball club down in Norfolk. Ron Johnson, he's with the Orioles all spring training, so great baseball guy.
1.35 in ERA in the International. That's pretty darn good on one staff. Pitch on the way to Wieters. Off speed delivery is in there for a strike. Wieters, a leadoff single, broken 0 for 15. His first time up. Shift on against Matt. And the pitch will miss outside for a ball. Wieters with Hardy to follow. Orioles came in with a plus 51 in the run differential department compared with Minnesota's plus 4. But they both have the same record. They are both 43 and 39. The difference is Minnesota's 4.5 games behind KC. The Orioles are just 1 game behind the Yankees.
Yeah, and they're both 10 games over at home. 26. Well, the Orioles are 26 and 16, and the Twins are 25 and 15 here.
And Wieters will take a little wrinkle on that one. That's going to miss.
Kind of funny, you talk to Paul Molitor at spring training and read some of his quotes. He says, "I just have to get a young team to see the big picture," and that's what Buck Showalter has done. The big picture changed since he got here.
2-2 delivery, hit into the shift for a base hit. Matt Wieters, he got the barrel on that one. Matt is 2 for 2 in the ball game. 1 down. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the March of Dimes. 206 walks, $10,300. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthy and more active lifestyle. So the Orioles pick up their 4th hit of the ball game. 1-4-0 for the Orioles. 2 left on. The Twins 2-3-0. 2 left on. All the runs homers. Hunter, Hicks have picked them up for the Twins. Manny Machado leadoff homer for the Orioles. And the pitch is down low. J.J. Hardy, strikeout victim, his first time up.
Yeah, you look at J.J. and you would never know if you just kind of looked at his at bats that his average is in the high 230s. He's gotten so many big hits, playing so well at shortstop.
1-0 pitch from Hughes. That's going to be a base hit. No, running catch made Hunter. He took that one off the blades of grass and denies Hardy a base hit.
Well, 10 Gold Gloves? He has 39, but he gets a great jump and the ball's hit hard. And that's not good for JJ. Great approach. I mean, he smokes the ball to right field, and then again, it's funny with guys who are pull hitters, and that's what JJ is. You play him a little bit shallower and right, and only a step or two sometimes makes the difference.
So a big out recorded right there. 2 down. Runner remains at first base. Here is Parmalee. Wieters the base runner, and Hughes wants to step off. That's why outfielders have long-fingered gloves. And the delivery foul back. Parmalee hit into a double play his first time up. He is 2 for 11 lifetime off Hughes. Parmalee had a long at bat, hit the ball hard a few times with foul, and then ended up in the 4-6-3 double play through the shift, which is really kind of fun to watch. You got the shortstop on the second base side of the bag, so in that double play he had to go backwards from where he normally goes back to second in order to get the throw from his second baseman. But they did it in turn 2.
Yeah, Hughes made a great pitch, got him to roll over a little bit on a looked like a change up or maybe a little cutter. It came back, caught the outside part of the play, and then, gee, imagine Phil Hughes being ahead in the count, 0-2. I mean, just, you know, they always tell you to trust your stuff. I mean, curveball. I mean, everything's around the plate. It's just a totally different guy that we saw in New York. Now, he did have some injuries, but Yankee Stadium's certainly a tough place to play for a lot of reasons. The expectations. I mean, this was the guy coming up through the minor leagues. You kept reading him, Double-A, you mentioned, out of Santa Ana, California. You know, #1 draft choice, a lot of money. He's going to be the next guy that was really going to be the guy in New York.
The guy in Minnesota maybe now.
Yeah.
Pitch is going to miss, a little bit away, and a ball and 2 strikes on Parmalee. Orioles down by 1. The runs coming in the first 2 innings early on in this ball game. Parmalee's got the outfield deep, especially Hunter and right, who's backed up. 1-2 delivered in the air to center. He got good wood on it. Hicks is going back. Will it carry? 4-11. Way back. Oh, what a catch! Willie Mays, Vic Wertz, and Mr. Hicks with his back to home plate and 400 plus feet away. He hauls it in. You will see more of that one.
The third play, the 2 Davis potential home runs in Chicago, and you're right about Willie Mays. Boy, I was a kid, over his shoulder, the Polo Grounds, 440 feet away. This is about 408 feet away. And that ball is hit so far, 2 outs. Matt Wieters running on contact. He runs it down, and there's your tying run. I mean, what a catch.
Wow. Great defensive play. It'll gather your manager closer to you.
Well, maybe that's part of the big picture that Paul Marlowe was talking about. They hit him like that, you go run him down.
There you go. Last speed pitch by Chen's going to miss up high. Sano at the plate. A youngster, Miguel, making his home debut, strikeout victim, designated hitter in this ball game. He can play some third base. They're also working him out at first. They want to keep his bat in the lineup and be able to put him in a fielding position as well as use him as a DH. So he could do all 3 of those, third, first, and designated hitter. 2-0 count. Sano will give it a big cut.
Yeah, you chase that. You're not going to get a lot of hits, but again, he is young, as you mentioned. I think he just turned 22, same number that's on his back.
Chen's delivery to him. That's going to go to left, and it will fall in for a base hit. No chance for Lowe. And the leadoff man on here in the 4th inning. Last weekend, in celebration of the 4th, Oriole players, coaches had the special patriotic jerseys and caps on. You can join the celebration by bidding on these game-worn jerseys and caps at Orioles.com/auction. They've been autographed by the players who wore it. Proceeds benefit the Orioles Charitable Foundation. So own a piece of history, contribute to a great cause. Orioles.com/auction. You can do it right now. Rosario, the rookie, flying out to right field his first time up. Manny Machado just off the cut of the grass at third. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Each team now with 4 hits in the ballgame. Rosario also enjoys hitting here in this ballpark. Came in with a .436 average at Target Field. Second highest rookie average in a home ballpark this year. 0-1 pitch, Tapper, swinging bunt. Chen, one play at first. The throw, got him.
Yep.
Molitor will say, hang on, let us take a look.
Yeah, well, Butch Davis out of the Oriole organization at first, and he jerked his head around. He's a first base coach. Wei-Yin Chen makes a great play, and I mean really something. He gets to it. He takes his time in the sense that he's going to get his balance, and then throws a rocket over there. But it looked to me that he beat it, but maybe not.
Nope, Molitor is not going to challenge.
Take a look right here. Chris Parmelee, one of the best.
You call it.
Yeah, and again, you know, it used to be the old days. I read somewhere, I'm not sure it was in the rule book, the tie was supposed to go to the runner.
He's out.
Yeah, but again, if there's not enough to change the call on the field, which that's the case.
Runner down to second base on it. That one's going to be fouled away. What a night so far for Aaron Hicks. He gets his 3rd home run in the 2nd inning to give the Twins a 2-1 lead. And then he makes a magnificent catch on that fly ball in center field to deny the Orioles what would have been the tying run if it got over his head.
Yeah, you'd almost think it's his birthday.
Yeah, really.
And then, of course, Wei-Yin Chen, he's under 100, 095 runners in scoring position.
That one in the air to right field. Davis backing up a bit, runner tagging. Throw will be made to the cutoff man. It'll move the runner to third, but with a couple of outs. Let's take a look at the Orioles' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mile1.com. The Orioles on the road to the Twins, and then have the Nationals coming up interleague play over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Runner at third base. 2 down. And that'll bring Suzuki to the plate, grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, average low, but in this situation, about 40 points higher at 268.
Down to third and foul.
It just kind of rolled over on a changeup the first time up. And bounced it to J.J. Hardy at shortstop.
I was looking at that runner in scoring position number coming in for Chen. He'd given up 6 hits in these situations in 63 opportunities by opponents. Lowest batting average with a runner in scoring position for starting pitchers in baseball. Oh my gosh, did that hit him on the head? In the on-deck circle, Santana, that foul ball hit him in the helmet. You could hear it all the way upstairs.
And he looked dazed, but maybe just happy.
Now he's pointing to the bat. Maybe it hit the bat. But you could hear it hit something. Wow.
Well, I'm not going to stand there again. I'm ducking for cover before I have to duck for cover.
And now you understand why helmets are worn in the on-deck circle. Listen to this.
Ooh.
That may have been the
bat. It sounded like the bat.
He's all right. Wow.
Of course, the ball boy's smiling because he took one for him.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough angle, which is why you stand there on deck. Ball put in the air, center field, not deep. Jones broke back, coming, and he makes the catch. Suzuki is retired. Adam took a step back and then had to recover, but he did. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one left on base. Adam Jones, heading to the All-Star game, uses speed to retire the side.
I thought if I had a chance, it would be, to be like a late replacement for somebody that couldn't pitch. But to be voted, be a manager selection really means a lot to me, and I appreciate Ned Yost picking me and also picking Zach. So we had two guys from one bullpen is something to be proud of. Is we're a unit down there. So personally, I couldn't be more excited.
They found out before the ball game there are these selections for relievers.
Well, you want to win, you get these type of guys. I mean, of that group, Herrera probably the youngest, throws about 100, great part of the Kansas City's drive. But Darren's been in about 220 games for the Orioles. I mean, it's like 22-6, ERA about 2 runs a game, and unless you see him every day, he would probably be one of these guys you would consider underrated.
Yeah,
but certainly not overrated. And
managers certainly do.
Yeah, exactly. And he's so deceptive. I mean, he's kind of the anti-reliever in the sense because he doesn't, maybe throws 87.
Jonathan Schoop to second base. Dosha's over to get it. Schoop is retired. He had a base hit his first time up. One away, 5th inning. So another pitching duel. Orioles have seen a lot of these. Not yesterday in that blowout 9-1, but of late, more of these kinds of very tight ball games where the runs are hard to come by.
And on the road, at home, Parmley's his ball's a home run. Paredes' ball's a home run, and you're pitching in a much bigger ballpark now. It's even, but that's why maybe the Twins get fly ball pitchers. They pitch a little bit better here.
Those fly balls can be outs.
Yeah.
Foul territory, yes, and it'll be hauled in by Rosario. Lowe is retired, and there are 2 down. Manny Machado coming up, home run in his first at bat. You see this season, American League rankings for this yard.
Yeah, well, this is what we're talking about. Home runs are down. Parmley's ball's a home run. Paredes' ball's a home run in Baltimore. Here they're outs, and the batting average is it's a line drive hitting team, and then of course the runs down, ERA down. And that's out of, I assume, the American League teams, out of 15. So good place to pitch.
Good breaking ball thrown by Hughes that time. Manny on with a walk, his lifetime up after getting the home run. That one outside. Manny's 375 lifetime hitter against the Minnesota Twins. That home run he got in the first inning is his first career home run against the Twins, and thus of course the first in this ballpark. He'll pop that one up outside of first base. Look out. Called off. Good play made. So Mauer comes over to get it, and the Orioles are retired in order. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, game 1 of 3, with the Twins leading by 1. Fewer in 18 consecutive games. That's tied with the 1919 Pirates for the longest streak in the majors. Padres have played 57 games, more than anyone else, against opponents with a 500 or better average. They're due for some better chances. And the Cardinals are hitting a .195 with 11 runs in their last 6 games. They've won 2. They're playing the Cubs, who have averaged 2.2 runs a game in their last 12, and they've won 5 out of 6. And neither team has scored tonight in the 5th inning at Wrigley.
So runs are down.
Runs are down tonight. Here's a bunt back to Chen. He'll record the out, and Santana's retired on a pitch.
Well, yeah, good idea, bad execution. No, I mean, Wayan can pick it. Yeah, that means he can really field. We saw that on the bunt play. He was able to throw out Eddie Rosario on, I don't know how many. You know, there was a guy that I first saw when I got here, and that was Jim Cotta, won 16 straight Gold Gloves. Those were the kind of plays that Jim made on a nightly basis.
Field your position, help your cause,
exactly.
Right? Shift is on in the infield, and the pitch taken for a strike. Dozier's drawn a walk, and he has grounded out.
And they put the shift on, and all you have to do is look at the direction it hits. 62 to left, 16 up the middle, 5 to right. So he is a dead pull hitter.
He is number 1 in the American League in runs, and Oriole fans on hand, happy birthday to Manny. 23 today, as we said. So there you go, Manny. There's a sign to sign for you, for the fan after the ball game. 0-2 delivery on the way. Dozier will take that one inside. First in runs, first in extra base hits. Dozier at the top of the order, supplying them with 62 runs scored so far this year, tied with the All-Star Josh Donaldson. Swing and a miss. Chen got him.
Yep. He flips the bat up the ladder. He almost gets him in the back foot with a hard slider. That's the kind of one that he wanted to throw to Tory Hunter, but he left it up and he homered and then go right up the ladder. This is how the way he makes his living. You think you can hit it and you can't. I mean, you don't get some. As we mentioned, the last 2 runs in his last start were both on solo home runs.
And Hunter will ground it down to third and foul. Tory batting second, 13th home run, first inning. He has also popped out in the ball game. 2 down, nobody on, 2-1. Twins are on top. Wei-Yin Chen has won his last 3, an ERA of 2.16 in his last 5 starts. He's 3-0. The Orioles have won all 5 of the last 5 he started. In fact, he's got the best mark for team record when he starts. The Orioles are 10-5. He rears back for a little extra on that one.
Yeah, 95. Well, I think, I mean, he had some terrific years. I mean, he came to Minnesota. First full year was really good 2001, and then All-Star, home runs, Gold Gloves.
Center field, Adam Ball. That'll retire the side. So both pitchers getting tougher here as each has retired the side in order in their last half inning. Goes up and hauls one in right field. One of the great catches of the year. Cabrera on Sunday, Melky in left field. He goes back to get it. And then it's not enough that Davis gets robbed. The Orioles got a chance to tie the game tonight. Center field. Long drive. And a tremendous catch by Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, and they're all close games, as you mentioned. The Orioles they got kind of knocked around by Texas, losing 3 of 4, and then 1-0, and then the catch that Garcia made was in a 3-2 ball game, would have tied it up.
Parmalee robbed tonight, down the line, foul ball by that much. Parmalee got robbed on that catch by Hicks, and he'll get a shot again here, maybe in the inning, if the Orioles can get something going.
And Paredes hit a ball that looked like it might get off the scoreboard. I mean, just a high drive to right center, but a lot of room out there. Got to have a birthday to go out in that direction. That's where Manny Machado hit it.
A couple of fly ball outs for the Oriole DH. Another big cut right off the top of the bat and back.
Well, Phil Hughes is about 6'5", and sometimes he would get under the ball in New York, but here seems like even though he pitches up, still able to get enough zip on it that think you can hit it, you get under it.
And he will bounce that one down low on the 80th pitch. He has thrown in the ball game as the Orioles bat in the 6th inning. Paredes, Jones, and Davis. Paredes with the power to get one out of here if he pulls one down that right field line. And this time he's over the top. Tag put on. Struck him out.
Yeah, perfect breaking ball when you get ahead. I mean, Jimmy Paredes could hit the breaking ball, but with 2 strikes and then you make this pitch, the illusion, the good curveball out of your hand, you think it's maybe a fastball, and then you think it's going to stay up, and it doesn't.
Strikeout number 3 for Hughes, who has also walked just 1. He's averaging 6 2/3 innings in his starts this season. Ball club's gone 8-8 in 16 starts for Philip Hughes. Adam Jones takes it away. He's popped out twice, once to short and once to the catcher. Adam trying to get that bat going again after the games that he missed. And he does. Oh my, another one way back in left field. How far? Goodbye, home run. It's off the fair pole. Adam Jones with a tremendous drive down the left field line has tied this game at 2.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers, and 8 for 48 coming in, and then another, so 8 for 50. couple of home runs, you're going, it just doesn't make sense, because Hughes is a high ball guy. Doesn't mean he can't throw his breaking ball down, but it's just, and then all of a sudden he makes a mistake. You know, you kind of have to wonder, maybe Adam, even though he did take time off with a shoulder injury, rushed back a little bit sooner than maybe he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for that one.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm saying it's getting better. You know what I'm saying? Trying to. Yeah, because you're in the race and you want to play. And
Davis goes against the shift. He's got a base hit. Hunter over to get it, and a couple pitches up, and the Orioles have not missed. Chris Davis on with a base hit.
Yeah, so you're Phil Hughes. You throw home runs, but you don't want to, and it's just a cutter. You know, about 88, so it's not quite as firm as your fastball, and then it just gets smoked. And the only thing that Adams cares about is that it does stay fair, and it does hit what they call the foul pole, but it really is the fair pole.
So the ball game tied at 4. All 4 runs have been solo home runs in the ball game, and all 4 of them have just been tacked. And that one's going to be foul.
Yeah, I wonder if Weeder's going to give Joe Mauer a look. Nope, they didn't. He goes, you can do it. I can do it.
He's already 2 for 2, couple of singles in the game. For the Orioles, 2 home runs. Timothy Hammond, our Maryland lottery contestant, $500 for each of them.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the fair and the foul pole, it's kind of like, if you're an optimist, it's, you know, it's going to be partly sunny tomorrow. If you're a pessimist, it's going to be partly cloudy. So the same thing. I mean, if you're a negative guy, you go, okay, the ball hits the pole, it's fair.
Yep.
So why would you call it the foul pole unless you're
don't know,
like to wear black and
we take the optimistic approach and we call it the fair pole.
We call it the fair pole.
Absolutely. And Adams does too. They measured that at 430 feet. The thing that's impressed me the most, I don't know if it's the acoustics in this ballpark.
Oh, you mean the sound.
The sound of these home runs coming off the bat has been extraordinary. I mean, it's balls that have been barreled up directly, and you hear it. I mean, if baseball fans know what that sounds like. When you hear that, you know, even if you're not looking.
Yeah, it's like watching Robert Redford in The Natural. When he hits that home run, it goes off the.
It's a tremendously solid sound.
The field is lower. I mean, I don't know. The acoustics.
That one's going to go to the gap in left center field. 377. Reaching up, can't get it off the top of the wall. On the fly, Davis are going to hold him up as the relay man is hit, and that's going to be a double. So Weeders clocks one, almost got it out. He came in 0 for 15. He's gone 3 for 3 with a double and 2 singles.
Yeah, Chris Davis doesn't get a tremendous read, otherwise he scores on here, and you can see now that it looks like the Orioles here in the 6th. Balls are still up. You know, maybe he just figured this is the week, or maybe the road trip of great catches. Rosario can't get it off the wall and then hits his body, and there's your double off the wall. I mean, the way the ball's carrying, you think that ball might get out of here.
So the infield's going to be drawn in. There's only one down. Davis on at third. Weeders on at second. J.J. Hardy robbed of a hit by Tory Hunter his last time up. And the pitch will be taken inside. Hughes really getting hit here in the 6th inning.
And Hughes wanted that pitch. A little cutter that he, just as he did the first time up, starts at J.J.'s front hip. And
base hit here, and the Orioles could plate 2. Here's the 1-0 delivery to him. Hardy up the middle, knocked down, holds the runner. Big play.
Yeah, you try to go back up the middle, infield halfway in, and then you become a defender. And Hughes does a nice job.
Well, it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Can Hughes work his way out of this? Parmalee coming up, robbed on that tremendous catch by Hicks in center field, and he's hit into a double play.
It seems like the Orioles, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, you think they'd have 4 or 5 runs.
Yep.
Twins diving all over the place, running catches, deep drives.
Foul back. Another good cut. He's had some real good looks in his at-bats against Hughes. Fouled off some pitches hard. And of course, that shot he put out to center field.
Well, you better be able to go back on the ball because this park's so big. So unless you're going to play exceptionally deep, and you don't want to do that with 2 outs. Of course, we know Hicks can do it in center.
Pitch on the way to him, taken for a strike.
Yeah, outside corner. J.R. Graham, and comes out of the Atlantic organization.
Orioles looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position. They are 0 for 4. 2 on, 2 down, and a 2-2 game. Marley puts it up in the air, right center field. Hicks, much easier this time, puts it away. The Orioles will get a run on 3 hits. They leave 2 in scoring position. Adam Jones, his 11th home run of the season, ties this game up at 2. Show. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. Another good ball game as the Orioles open up this 3-game set. Adam Jones with a home run to tie it up. Machado the other one. The other side, it's Hunter and Hicks. 4 home runs, 2-2 game. For the Orioles, 2-7-0. They've left 5. The Twins are 2-4-0. They have left 3. Twins bat, bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's Mauer, bunted his way on in the 3rd inning. 1 for 2 in the ball game, and he'll take that for a strike. Joe with that enormous average against the Orioles, hitting .343 coming into the ball game against the O's. One of the highest averages of anybody ever against the O's.
No, there's another strike in the late one.
Take a look at our Maryland Life Casino inside the numbers. There they are.
Lamar Johnson pitched against some of those guys, and of course Mauer won 3 batting titles. Coming off a 4-hit night on Saturday.
And pulling the ball. You usually, I was talking with Paul Molitor, and Mauer has always been a hitter who takes the ball the other way a lot. And here in this ballpark, he kept doing that because it's so hard to drive the ball in right. But he's been taking the ball the other way, pulling it of late. This time, though, he can't reach it.
Yeah, hard to hit this pitch. You know, you talk about executing your pitches. The Hunter home run was a hanging slider. This is the perfect slider, high home, right where you want to throw it with 2 strikes. Couldn't throw it any better.
Wei-Yin Chen continues, despite giving up 2 home run solo shots, to pitch amazing baseball. Just the 2 runs on 4 hits in this game. Swung on and missed. Blew it into a double play.
You know, the only time I think that I've ever seen him, and this is his 4th year with the Orioles, become a little bit fazed by something. If you go back to the opening game, where they got him a big lead, 6-0 lead early on down to Tampa Bay, and remember when he forgot how many outs there were and he didn't try to turn the double play, and it affected him. That's the first time. 1 out of like 180 starts, or maybe 160 starts.
Amazing. And a swing and a miss. Plouffe is not getting good cuts against Chen so far in this ball game. He did draw a walk in the first inning. 2 have been surrendered. Chen 2 walks and 3 strikeouts in the game. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Plouffe will take that one down low.
Yeah, 40 doubles for Trevor Plouffe last year. 14 home runs. I mean, had a nice year for him. Drove in 80. Just a gap hitter with home run power.
Got one there that he foul tips into the mitt. He's gone. Strikeout number 4. The Chen rocking along.
Yeah, 94 up in the. We've seen him hit 95. You know, every time we come into different ballparks, some radar guns may be a little bit higher than others.
He is 2-1 in ball games he's pitched here in Minneapolis. 3-1 lifetime against the Twins. Sano will stand in with 2 down, and he fouls it away, a base hit, and he has struck out.
Yeah, I think when you see a big kid like this, and you know, as long as you stay ahead, and as we mentioned, the glove side is inside the righties. That's the glove side of if you're left-handed, right where they're going to go here. And he runs the ball on the inside part of the plate. I don't mean in the middle of the plate, but inside. It's we'll see how kind of a bat speed Sano has. Of course, down and away also works. Keep the ball in the ballpark.
Chen's delivery to him. Sano will go upstairs on it. That's not his pitch. And Chen will get ahead of him, a ball and 2 strikes. Batting average, righties lefties only 1 point apart coming into this ball game. I was looking at numbers. Wei and Chen, everything against righty lefties is almost exactly the same. On base percentage, slugging, OPS, strike percentage exactly the same. Lefty righties at 67%. Pitch will be taken inside.
Yeah, the
3-2.
One pitch he hasn't had tonight is his changeup. In his last start, and that was, you know, an awfully good start against Texas. He was able to throw it 1-0, slow the bat down a little bit.
Walked it. So with 2 down, the Twins will get a runner on here for Rosario coming up. On Sunday, when the Orioles take on the Nationals, 1:35, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Orioles Hawaiian shirt. Make your summit even hotter by adding a little island flavor. Good seats still remain. Sunday afternoon Battle of the Beltways. Get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Yeah, it's almost like he tried to pitch around him. Last time he walked more than 2 was all the way back on April 20th when he walked 5. That's it.
Rosario takes it inside, jackknifes away. Rosario 0 for 2. Chen made a fine defensive play on him in the 4th inning to get him at first base. Runner on, 2 down, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts now for Chen. Inside again. Wieters thought about throwing a pickoff down, but couldn't hang on to it. He had Harmony going back to the bag in a hurry. Sano trying to get as big a lead as he can down there, but also being warned we got a tie game here. Which Davis telling him don't get picked off. 2-0 count. That one he really fooled him with. Broke in.
Yeah, that was get me over. He's looking for a fastball slider. Rosario only played as high as AA ball last year. Another one of their youngsters out of Puerto Rico, 4th rounder.
Coming up in a hurry. 2-1 delivery on the way to him. That'll miss outside. Rosario trying to get the potential go ahead around from first base. He's played both left field, right field, had 3 chances in center even. 3-1. Not a big lead at first now. And that was one he really wanted. Didn't get it.
He airs it out.
Pretty good pitch to drive right there, and he tried doing.
Well, you have a lot of guys because of I always talk about you hide the ball, you're a little bit deceptive. William Chen, you saw that early. The first time I ever saw him throw it, backfields in Sarasota. Ball comes out of his hand real nicely.
Runner will go. 3-2 delivery on the way. Rosario will go too. He is strikeout number 5. No runs, no hits, a base runner left on. Our Mazda do-ups: Scope, Lowe, and Manny Machado.
Here tonight, 4 home runs. Manny Machado on his 23rd birthday starts it off. Orioles ahead by a run. Hanging slider, 0-2 pitch. Tory Hunter will tie it up 1-1 into the mezzanine in left center field, and then down 2-1. Adam Jones with the blast 430 feet off the fair pole here at Target Field, tied up 2-2. And those are your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you up to 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
I'm sure when they put that fair pole in, they thought it had plenty of height to it. Almost didn't. Boy, I was really up there on that Jones home run. It was almost to the top.
Well, I remember at Memorial Stadium, guys, it was a high pole, but they would hit it over the pole, and then that's when you have a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem if you're an umpire. And that one will be taken outside, so Hughes stays on here in this 2-2 ball game. Orioles have had more chances than the Twins have had to get another run in. Jonathan Scope, he'll pop that one up first base side.
Yeah, that was a home run cutter, and he just gets under it. Yep.
One away, 7th inning. Copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. The crowd on hand, a great night to be at the Yard. One away, 7th inning. Lowe, 0 for 2. He has struck out, flied out, gets a start in left field. Why? He's a career .364 hitter against Minnesota. His average is .361 in this ballpark. And the pitch taken inside for a ball. Dunsing and Graham LLC.
Oh yes. Solve all your legal problems.
That's right. Or some that aren't. Yeah. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Does your diving, but could not get it. And Lowe is on with a 1-out single.
Well, you talked about the fact that the Orioles are now, or not the Orioles, but the league 7 out of 9. Lowe doesn't really. He has good speed, doesn't steal a lot of bases, 1 out of the 5 attempts, but you're wondering maybe, just maybe, this would be one of those times. I'm not sure you want to run yourself out of an inning, but again, maybe you started him. Of course, you know that if Machado hits one up the gap, he's going to score from first.
Manny has drawn a walk, hit a home run, and popped out. Led the ball game off with a homer. Lowe not going anywhere on this pitch. Base hit. That's going to be up the middle for a single. Lowe will make the turn. He's going to go. Here's the throw. Not in time. He turned the Jets on and challenged Hicks.
Yeah, you know, I thought that Aaron Hicks, who made the fabulous play before, I believe he might have thought that David Lowe, because he kind of shuts it down and then accelerates right when he gets to second. I mean, this is a great angle. Here comes Hicks. He comes in pretty fast. And then right here, all of a sudden, he realizes he's going. And then the short hop. A little better throw would have been bang, bang. But David Lowe is going to force a pitching change. His speed.
We talk about dekes that are made by infielders and outfielders with their gloves. That was a deke by Lowe, base running, because when he got to second, he slowed down as though he was going to stop. The Orioles runners on at first and third, one away, and Hughes out of the ball game.
Really, the fourth straight time. You can see a lot of fastballs over his season high, and maybe not as many cutters. Leadoff home run by Manny Machado, and can't win, but he certainly could lose as Brian Dunsing comes in. And it's your Jiffy Lube pitching change. Time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube. Drive in today. There it is, fastball, and his fastball 93, change up mid 80s, slider a little bit slower. You can see kind of like almost a 60 30 10. And again, the lefties, even though the last, and this doesn't really have anything to do, is they'll turn Paredes around and try to set up a potential force somewhere.
One down, infield halfway, ground ball, chance for two. There's one relay, one pitch, and they got what they wanted. A double play to end the inning. It remains a 2-2 game, seventh inning stretch time from Minneapolis. the mound against Kyle Gibson. Our coverage on Masson 2 begins at 7:30. O's Extra presented by Jeep, followed by game coverage at 8. All the access you need right here on Masson.
A couple of number one draft choices. Obviously, Gausman for the Orioles. Gibson is coming off a game where he pitched very well in Kansas City, one of the two games. And Kevin Gausman, of course, he pitched well against a team, Texas, who was hitting a bunch of home runs. So he gets a second start in a row.
So a big double play ball. Dunston comes on, throws one pitch. Hughes ends up with just the 2 runs on 9 hits in 6 1/3. Wei-Yin Chen stays on for the Orioles, bottom of the 7th. Hicks has had a home run, his 3rd, and he is flied out. Aaron Hicks, bottom 3rd of the order in a 2-2 ball game, even though the Orioles are outhitting him 9-4. Hardy's got it, and the out. 1 down. Well, the next firework night coming up, Oriole Park. It's going to be Friday, July 31st. It'll be after the Tigers game at 7:05. The Birdland skies light up with that great display, and it's presented by Kaiser Permanente. Good seats still remain, won't last. Fireworks night, July 31. Tickets, Orioles.com, or 888-848-BIRD. Chen going deep for the Orioles 7 times in his 15 starts. He has gone 7 or more innings. Pitch will be taken inside. The Orioles starters have still struggled to do what Buck Showalter had hoped. Overall, they have not reached that 18 to 20 out mark enough times. Their ERA up from last year. Ground ball to short. That'll be played again by Hardy. And another out.
You know, Wayne's going to the low and away fastball, and they're trying to pull it. Tendency to do that. And now if you're sitting home, you go, well, how did Jimmy Paredes with runners at first and third trying to hit a fly ball swing at that pitch? We were looking at the numbers in Chicago yesterday. Paredes first swinging at first pitch and making contact was at 400. Now I would think as he matures and gets more at bats, he might feel more comfortable. Hey, I haven't seen this guy. Maybe I'll take a pitch or so. But he's had success. Just didn't work then.
Pitch will be taken for a strike. 2 down, nobody on. Danny Santana hitting 9th. He is flied out, grounded out. Chen's pitch to him's another chopper. Again, it's Hardy. It's a Hardy inning and a good one. He retires them all. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. Chen continues to be outstanding. 2-2 ball game. Tonight they have picked up 9 hits in this ball game, starting with the Manny Machado home run leading off the game. They're out hitting the Twins 9-4. The problem has been they are 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position in this game. Adam Jones with the other Oriole home run and a couple of fine defensive plays have denied the Orioles a chance to get a lead in this ball game. So we're 2-2 and to the bullpen again, the Twins.
That's right. Paul Mahler says, Brian Dunston, we only needed you for one pitch. Throw the double play. Now will bring Casey Fee in. He is their, this is what he does. I mean, he's their hold guy. He's got 10 of them. Got 59 over his career. You know, hard thrower, 93, 94, hard slider, and then he's got a good changeup and a curveball's about 80. So he's got 3-4 pitches. And the Orioles, of course, trying to cash in maybe with some offense, something they haven't been able to do.
Adam Jones goes after the first pitch and fouls that one back. That is not a good place to be tonight. That's the same spot where that foul ball almost took Santana out off Suzuki's bat.
And you can see the lefties hit being a little bit better. Well, actually a lot. 80. What is that?
What's 80 points among friends?
87 points.
Hey,
that's right. Yeah.
We're all friends here. 0-1 delivery to Jones. The outside. Adam, home run number 11, came in the 6th inning, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Adam getting his 4th home run in this ballpark and his 7th lifetime against the Minnesota Twins. Feigns delivery to him and a swinging off the mask of Suzuki, the catcher.
Yeah, that's the 93, just enough that he keeps it down. Very effective, and then he's got the hard slider, cutter to go with it. One of the Mr. All-Stars for the Orioles. First All-Star team.
One ball, 2 strike count on Jones. Fiend from the third base side of that rubber, across the body and into the glove. I'll throw it, you hit it, I'll catch it.
Yeah, Dozier standing right behind him in case he does it. I mean, if that ball does not go right into the glove, which it did. I mean, look at Dozier right behind him. I mean, he takes a step to his right. He's going to catch that ball. You can see him get into position. He still couldn't believe his pitcher snagged it.
Follow through matters.
Well, it also, the other part of it is to your glove hand. Didn't have to reach. Actually, it was a heat-seeking glove missile right into the glove.
Here's Chris Davis, and a swing and a miss on the off-speed delivery. Chris has had a base hit. He is 1 for 3, extending his hit streak to 4 ball games. Wei and Chen getting the congrats. The ball to Jimenez. Lewis in there translating. That ball will go into the shift. Dozier, long throw. I'll get to it in a minute. Follow the Orioles wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, StatCast, and more. MLB.com at bat, your smartphone or tablet. Lewis, of course, does the translation for Wei and Chen. Now he's translating Spanish to Mandarin, I think, while he's standing over there in the dugout between the two of them. And of course, Wei and Chen doesn't need anybody.
No.
Tillman's not talking Mandarin, but Wei and Chen might. And you know, Ubaldo was talking Spanish to him, speaking Spanish, and Wei and Chen just laughs it off there with his interpreter.
He knows exactly what they're saying.
He knows exactly what they're saying. But he's a good man. He gives another guy employment. I respect that. Foul back by Wieters, who's going for a 4-hit game. Matt's had a double and 2 singles in this ball game.
That's right. If you're only going to get me 2 to 3 runs a game, kind of like Paul Giamatti in Sideways when they ordered Merlot, or if anybody, I'm out of here.
Ball's going to be foul back.
I am. Well, I can't exactly. But a little more than that. But it was, I'm out of here.
Sideways or otherwise. They move the shift around on Wieters as they bring the third baseman Plouffe back over to the third base side, saying they believe Wieters, down on the count, is more likely to go to left field, at least on the ground.
Yeah, well, 3 for 3 tonight.
0-2 delivery to him. That'll miss down low.
Yeah, started at 222. His average now at 257. 70 at bats this year. 18 hits, 6 of them double.
2-2, 1-2 delivery rather. Now it's going to be 2-2.
Casey's out of here too.
Fiend was headed with the dugout. Thought that was enough, and now Diaz having a word with the dugout himself.
I mean, look where the glove is, and this ball is not a strike. I mean, it's close, but it's
not a strike.
Yeah, Laz Diaz is, maybe called a couple low pitches, but over the plate, and hitters usually can live with that.
2-2. Leaders in the air the other way. That'll be a souvenir.
Well,
good crowd on hand. 23,213. 2-3-2-1-3.
That is, unless you think that pitch is a strike and then he gets the next pitch out, then you have trouble living with that. But it's not Las Diaz's fault.
And he won't have trouble living with it.
No.
He made the call what he thought it was.
What did you know? I'm just call him as you see him.
That's right. Nobody's ever going to agree with you, so.
Get some glasses.
2 ball, 2 strike count.
In the old days at work, before contact lenses, now, I mean, you don't know. We used to see really in outside of Memorial Stadium where the Wise family, there was a payphone. It was going back in 60s or 70s.
Ancient.
You'd see umpires have to put their glasses on to dial the number, and you go, oh no wonder he missed those pitches. Come on. Nearsighted.
3-2 delivery on the way and a swing and a miss. Came back and got him anyway. So the Orioles retired in order. Ball game remains tied 2-2.
Really pitches well. A couple of solo home runs, which is something that will happen on occasion. A lot of real good pitches. Never ever caves in. The Orioles, they only get them 2 runs. They're only getting them 3.6 on the year, so a lot of fastballs. The one hanging breaking ball to Tory Hunter, the fastball down to Aaron Hicks, and then the All-Star, one of the Orioles' 4 All-Stars, Britton and O'Day out of the bullpen. Boy, he's been great for the Orioles. First time he's ever made the All-Star team.
And he was genuinely humbled by it. You saw him earlier. We showed you talking to the press.
Well, he's such a quality guy. I mean, he's kind of like the bonus package. Fabulous when he gets to pitch, and then his off the field, even on the field persona as far as one of the leaders in the bullpen.
He will face the top of the order. Brian Dozier leading it off. He's walked 0 for 2 in the game. Dozier will take the pitch for a strike in the inside corner. O'Day has worked in this ballpark 5 other games. He's given up 3 runs on 7 hits in 4 2/3 innings here in Minneapolis. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Dozier trying to bunt his way on, did go after it. On plate umpire Las Diaz makes that call. So the Twins now, obviously, both teams are playing for 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And he's asking him, did you call it or did you actually check with first base umpire Floyd Blazer?
To which he said, I didn't need to. I saw it. Oh. Well, let me go back to the batter's box then.
Well, funny, you would think leading the league in extra base hits, that's what he'd think, but he also has speed, so if he gets on, and all of a sudden, if you're Paul Molitor, you kind of be pleased with that. You might be able to manufacture a run here in the 8th inning.
0-2 count. O'Day's delivery to him, and that one's going to miss outside. Closer Glenn Perkins getting ready.
Now he is the, other than Dozier, who's going to be one of those, what, the five ones that the fans vote on, or internet-wise, but Perkins there all-star.
Yep.
25 out of 25 in the save categories.
Takes that outside for a ball. Good eye. 2-ball, 2-strike count on him. Wei-Yin Chen ended with 11 consecutive outs. He retired the side in order in the 6th, 7th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, and had the last 2 in the 4th. Great finish for Wei-Yin Chen. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Dozier. And he rips one to left field. Ball's going to be right at him, though. Lowe is there, and he's got it. Dozier's retired one away.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you look at Wei-Yin Chen. You know, he had more walks than he's had since, what, April 20th. Strikes out the side in the 6th with a walk after the first 2 strikeouts, and then throws 3 consecutive ground balls to his shortstop. What about a 7-pitch inning?
Yep. Yeah, that was really amazing. 3 ground balls in a row for someone who rarely gets them, and he got that big ground ball in the 3rd inning to get a double play to end the inning. Here is Hunter. He'll go after one, trying to finish the ball game right there. Whoa.
That was number 14, or was going to be.
He is 2 for 12 off O'Day in his career. 0-1 count. Hunter and then Joe Mauer. And he'll foul that one off the other way. O'Day throwing strikes. Darren does not have a record against this Minnesota team, despite the fact this is the 17th game he has pitched against them. It's all been in the middle. 4 runs, 14 hits, 13 2/3 innings, ERA of 2.63 lifetime against the Twins. Ahead on the count here, 0-2 on Hunter. That'll be outside. 4 runs, all on home runs. Hunter, Hicks for the Twins, the Orioles, Manny Machado, and Adam Jones. All solo homers. Orioles have left 6. The Twins have left 4. And Hunter will go down swinging.
Yeah, a lot of times a guy becomes an easier out if he's trying to hit a home run, because he really tries to. I mean, he's trying to air it out. Just goes right up the ladder, slider down and away for strike 2, and then strike 3, a little bit out of the zone. I always thought that Hunter became a better hitter. Not that he wasn't a good hitter when he played for the Twins. Here is when Mike Scioscia, when he played for the Angels, put him in the number 2 spot. Learned what right field was about.
Well, here's Mauer, 2 down in the 8th. Base hit, bunt single, 1 for 3. Pitches there at the knees for a strike.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever had any history.
Nope.
Mauer has never faced him, or if he has, he walked at 0 for 0.
One delivery on the way to him. That's going to be down low. For Mauer, all kinds of discussions forever since this ballpark opened about how much it took away from his power and extra base hits, home runs. Mauer here is hitting .275 this year. 3 of his 5 home runs hit here, and almost exactly the same on the road. .276, couple home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Mauer will take that one away.
Well, he was a Gold Glove catcher. He was a 3-time batting titleist, and all before he was led by 27. And then he got the concussions at the end of 2013. So he said, "How'd that happen?" He said, "Foul. You know, you get a foul ball, and then you get another concussion shortly thereafter."
2-1 delivery goes the other way. That one's going to come right back to Lowe. He's got it, and that'll do it. O'Day, run 2-3. We go to the 9th inning of game 1 of this 3-game set. Orioles Twins tied at 2. Pure Low Fare now at Southwest.com. Heck of a ball game to open it up here. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you as the sun goes down and the lights come up.
So Glenn Perkins comes in, and that's the breakdown. He can throw, 94, 95. Former #1 draft choice. He's played his whole career here. Actually grew up as Joe Mauer did, St. Paul, Minnesota. 32 years of age, and you go all the way back. He was a 22nd pitcher pick. So you can see lefties hitting him better than righties. And again, 27 out of 27 last couple of years. 34 saves last year, 36 the year before.
And he comes on, as home teams do, in a tie game in the 9th inning. Try and retire the side and give the home team a chance to win in the bottom of the 9th inning. J.J. Hardy 0 for 3. And we'll foul that one off the other way. Perkins is 4 for 4 when it comes to saves against the Orioles in his career. This, of course, is not a save situation. Could be a potential win situation for him. Hardy take the breaking ball. That will be down and in. 1 ball, 2 strike count. 2-2 9th inning. Hardy will be followed by Parmalee and Jonathan Scope. 1-2. Fooled him.
Yeah, good one. When you throw 93 to 95, you better get it going. And of course, Glenn Perkins, a big guy, and then he makes. This is really what pitching's all about. We talk about it all the time. Do you execute your breaking ball? You don't have to throw it for a strike with 2 strikes. Hitters will chase. JJ does.
Orioles have hit well off Perkins over the years. The 17th appearance. They've had 27 hits and 24 innings against him. And that pitch will be in there for a strike. Parmalee 0 for 3, robbed on one of the great catches of the season by Hicks in the 4th inning. Would have scored a run had it not been caught. Back to the plate up the center, and something on the field in center will be removed. It was a man who was in center, and he removed himself. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that ball's up in the air infield. Second or first. Dozier's got it, 2 down.
Yeah, Perkins doesn't throw a lot of. He hung a slider, but it was. Sometimes you throw the backup slider, and it actually is a great pitch. Parmalee thinks it's going to break. It doesn't. He pops it up, swings at a ball. He doesn't walk anybody. Doesn't throw many home runs. 2 of them.
So 2 quick outs in the top of the 9th inning. Jonathan Scope, a base hit, 1 for 3. 95-mile-an-hour fastball comes inside to him. He's seen Perkins once, had a hit off him. 2 down in the 9th. And that one's going to miss inside. 2-0. Orioles have their closer, Zach Britton, ready to go, and Tommy Hunter. 2-0 pitch by Perkins.
See, that's when Jonathan Scope, a couple of years, will go, you know what? I'm going to make him throw a strike. David Lowe's on deck. Doesn't want to walk me, but if he's going to throw it up there, I'm not swinging at it. And maybe I'll get a better pitch to hit him. If not, I'll just go down to first base. And
evens it up, 2-2.
And of course, Perkins might have just been trying to pitch around him. Because you don't want to get beat with the guy that can hit a home run. And now, of course, he's right back in the count because Jonathan chased ball 3.
And the 2-2 delivery hit him. No, hit the bat. Or hit nothing. I'm not sure.
They probably got the knob of the bat.
Looked like it deflected off something, went all the way to the backstop. Nobody arguing about being hit. Knob of the bat, I guess. Yep. And struck him out. So Perkins comes on, strikes out 2. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Luke, Sano, Rosario will be due up. Ball game tied. ninth inning. Looks like Orioles will go to the pen.
Tommy Hunter on a lot of fastballs, heartbreaking ball. Takes a little bit off every once in a while. Good fastball. Strike thrower. And thrown a home run in his last 3 appearances. Got on a roll and then gave up 3 runs, 3 singles, and then a wall-scraping double to Beltre against the Rangers. Other than that, he's been pretty good. You can see 34 in the 3rd innings, only 5 walks. So he will come in. Try to hold off the Twins here in the 9th.
Tommy has a 2-0 record in this ballpark. This will be the 5th game he's appeared in. 2-0 record and 1-for-1 in saves. He's given up only a run on 8 hits in 11 2/3 innings. Twins have hit only 195 lifetime off him. Plouffe 2 for 5 against Hunter will lead it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. He's 0 for 2 and a walk. Defense straight up. Plouffe goes after it, fouls it back. Great starts. Chen 2 runs, 4 hits over 7, 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Philip Hughes 2 runs, 9 hits, 6 1/3, a walk, 3 strikeouts. In the air, right center, Jones will put it away.
Yeah, Chris Davis gets out of the way. The wind blowing very, very stiffly from left to right here. Probably what? Don't you think another 10 miles per hour?
It's
where it started. Yeah. Again, it's hard to tell, as you mentioned. It's a beautiful ballpark here. A jewel that sits in downtown Minneapolis. But again, it's hard to tell from here. I mean, it feels like the wind is coming in, and then maybe it's just coming in. I don't know. It swirls in Baltimore.
Yep.
May swirl here.
Very hard to tell. Sano will swing at that one and miss. His debut at his home ballpark, called up while on the road. He's had a base hit, a walk, and he has struck out. He's the DH in the ball game. And that one caught Wieters.
Trying to see if the mask is all right. And obviously, if you, I can imagine that sometimes you get mask pro. I mean, that's dead center. He's hoping that the bar didn't break. That's what Joe Mauer was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get hit like that and you happen, and hopefully that's not the case, you get a concussion, and then you get better or you get cleared, and then you get hit again and get another one. That's when you have problems.
Sano will take that outside, and as we've learned, concussions are cumulative.
Yeah.
Tommy Hunter, 1 ball, 2 strike count. Orioles in a great matchup here with the Twins. 1-2. Almost went after it, not quite.
Well, that's what Tony Oliva was talking about. One of the great former batting titleists. In fact, Carew was here. Rod Carew and 7 batting titles were somewhere. Tony said he just left, but this kid 6'4", 260-ish.
And he takes it. Tough take, 3-2.
Yeah, I think he just took it because he got. I mean, that was just flat out. Either you go back to the bench or you hope that it's not called. Probably a shade off the corner, but very close.
You know what all the fans are thinking here in his debut in the 9th inning. Pitch by Hunter, and he draws a walk. So with 1 away, the potential winning run is on. Sure, we're going to get a pinch runner here. Eduardo Nunez will come on to run.
Yeah, one of those nights where it's probably at this juncture tough to hit a home run because of the wind. But in this park, as big as it is, a lot easier to hit a double and have speed, and that's what Nunez brings. We saw that in New York. I mean, he was the backup to Derek Jeter for years. Derek wasn't able to play, which wasn't very often. This would be your go. Actually, Nunez would be the guy that, so we know he's a runner.
Here's Rosario. One rookie gets a walk. Another rookie's going to try and move that pinch runner around. Rosario's gone 0 for 3. Struck out his last time up. Hicks waiting on deck. Nunez can't get picked off here, obviously. Tommy Hunter will, just to make sure he's leaning the right way, throw over. balance here in the bottom of the ninth. Chen walked 3, Hunter 1. Orioles have had 1 walk given up by Hughes. Down low, Weeder's going to pick him off.
Yeah, just the fact that he was able to keep it from going to the backstop. The ball bounces, and I mean, it's what, about 97? Why not see if he gets a jump? If you're Eduardo Nunez, you're trying to get that good secondary lead. Good time to throw there.
And a 2-0 count.
Of course, I say he doesn't walk people. He did. Now all of a sudden he's into another one of those hitters counts.
Outfield is straight away. 2-0 delivery. That's going to go into the glove of Hardy. Another fine defensive play in this ball game, and Hardy puts it away. 2 down.
Yeah, Eddie Rosario, I mean, he's just trying to drive one up a gap. I mean, hits it up the middle on the line. Anticipation, your balance, can you get a good jump? Do you have fast feet? A.J. Hardy has all those. Otherwise, you don't catch that ball. You could see him almost leaning a little bit to his right and then getting back and catching it before it gets into center field.
Big play to hold the runner at first base. 2 down. Hicks, a home run, his 3rd, came in the 2nd inning. 1 for 3 in the ball game. And you saw it. Mike Bordick talks about it a lot. As the pitch is being delivered coming to the plate, Hardy's feet are moving. So he's in motion already. So he's got a little momentum going. Not enough to move him one way or the other necessarily, but put the body in motion.
Yeah, I mean, you just get into a balanced position. Brooks Robinson used to be the best that I saw. I mean, they have a lot of great infielders. And I mean, it's almost like a timing mechanism where when the ball gets into the hitting zone, you're into an athletic position to go either way. I mean, and the same thing applies to outfielders.
We're in the bottom of the ninth. Game's tied at 2. Tommy Hunter trying to send it on to extra. And he's got 2 down. Pitch out. Runner not going. So the call from the dugout is they thought maybe Nunez would be trying to get into scoring position. 1-0 count.
Well, Hicks has had a nice evening. The solo home run from the other side of the plate. And then the fabulous catch off the bat of Chris Parmalee.
Hunter will miss away, trying to get him to go after pitches here that are a little bit away. And again, it's 2-0. Same count he had on Rosario.
That's usually the way you pitch, though, when you get a hit. Because they're not. I mean, he may be thinking home run because he's a young hitter, but they hit one up the gap. It's going to be a dash to home plate.
And a big cut and a pitch up.
So I guess he's not thinking double. He's just thinking airing it out.
Talking about JJ, you watch the feet as the pitch comes. See the feet are moving. Got a little bounce. That's what he does on virtually every play.
That's why when he missed all that time, I said, "How you feeling?" He said, "You know, you forget how."
Yeah.
And it's what spring training's about, to get into that. I mean, it's not like running a marathon, but it's your body's got to get used to it.
And Hunter comes back after a 2-0 count to even it up.
Yeah, 2 good pitches to hit for Aaron Hicks. 1 out of the strike zone. He chased, and that was, but it was 96. Now maybe you get him to try to chase just off the corner.
Nunez, the pinch runner at first base. 2-2, 2 down. Runner goes and looped on a reach foul, and Nunez was running. Weeder's a long look over into the dugout here, but whether they want to throw over, hold, or something with Nunez maybe running again. 2-2, runner goes down low. Weeder scoops it, throws it, and did he go off the bag? Nope. Stolen base.
He never made him stop. Stole 22 bases for the Yankees. I mean, Tommy just, he kind of ignored him. So he just got an extra. I mean, he got to run and lead. I mean, you want to make him stop. And then right here, so I mean, it's a tough throw to pitch on. Good throw. But again, he steals that off of Tommy Hunter. So now all of a sudden everything changes.
Base stealers now 6 for 8 against Hunter. And there's a potential winning run. Nunez. Hicks with a 3-2 count. Jones has moved in a couple of more steps in center field. Davis a step in right. Hardy will try and hold the runner. Ball put up in the air. It'll be to left. It'll be low, and we're going to go to 10. So he gets it done. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left on. The Orioles 1-1 in extra innings. 3-3 for the Twins. A couple of notes on the Summer Classic. The last player to play 9 innings, Carlos Beltran, 2006. He was with the Mets. Prior to that, it had been Ken Griffey Jr., Will Langford, and Brady Anderson, who all did it in 1997. Tony Gwynn and Cal played the entire game in 1994, and Alomar did it in 91. Just don't see guys going the distance in games anymore at the All-Star game. And on July 6th, this date, Fred Lynn, in 1983, at the only Grand Slam, believe it or not, in an All-Star game, came for the American League, of course, their first victory since '71.
Is that off Atlee
Hammaker?
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember that game? What, Chicago?
Chicago.
Yeah.
Hard to believe in all the All-Star games you'd have one Grand Slam.
Yeah, I pitched it. I pitched at 6.
That's why.
I've got to take care of that. So Trevor May comes in. He was a starter until Irvin Santana became a starter, who pitched yesterday, pitched very well. 2-2, no decision. So hard thrower. I mean, he's got good stuff, good changeup. 4 pitches, 92 with a fastball, got a changeup, slider, and then a curveball, a little bit under 80 miles per hour.
So his first relief appearance for the Twins this year. And the pitch in the 10th inning is going to miss down low to David Lowe. He has a base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Manny Machado and Paredes will be due up against Trevor May. Only career relief appearance was in 2014. Came in August against Houston, and he gave up 2 runs on 3 hits and 2 1/3 innings in that relief appearance.
Yeah, terrific changeup, and right there felt comfortable enough to throw it, even though he was behind in the count.
1-1 foul back, 1-2.
Yeah, I watched him probably about 5-6 weeks ago when he was pitching well. He had struggled a little bit. So when you give Irvin Santana, who had been suspended 80 games, you give him $55 million, he's going to come back in rotation.
1-2 pitch on the way to Lowe. That's a broken bat to center field. Hicks not going to get that one. The broken bat actually helps, as he didn't drive it very hard, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on here in the 9th inning. Here is Manny Machado. You see the all-star reserves that were announced. The infielders, Machado on that list. Hold Iglesias, Kipnis, Pujols, Teixeira, selected by managers and players. Pitchers, Archer, Gray, Hernandez, Keuchel, Price, and Chris Sale were named the starters. And the final vote, guys, now one of these 5 will go. Bogart, Cespedes, Dozier, Gardner, and Moustakas. Fans will be voting on them. Are voting on them. With the reserves announced today.
Yeah, so David Lowe, a very nice night. Again, doesn't, as we mentioned, doesn't steal a lot of bases, but has very good speed in case Manny puts one up the gap, or we've already seen single to center. Didn't think he was going all the way to third, but did.
He's got a pretty good lead over there. Machado puts that one to center field. Another one with a great sound to it. Hicks again going back at the wall. Got room and got the wall. Runner tags. And Lowe will get into second. Great heads up base running as Manny Machado drove it deep.
Yeah, well, he kind of got off the bag, and then when he saw Hicks approaching the warning track, realized that the ball, I mean, the wind has died right now, but I mean, that is good base running. You know, early on we had Chris Davis on the double by Wieters, didn't really get a good read. But right here, and now he's thinking right there, and he watches Hicks, goes back. I mean, this is what speed does. And it is so far out here, right at the 403 mark. And then he gets to read the throw, and it was offline, able to get into scoring position.
Neither teams had a hit with a runner in scoring position in this ball game. Orioles get their 7th chance. And the pitch to the man who leads everyone in that department in the American League. Paredes at the plate. He's had an 0 for 4. A couple of fly balls, a strikeout, and he hit into a double play. Potential go-ahead run now at second. Santana, the shortstop, behind Lowe, close behind him. 1-0 delivery by May. That one dropped off outside.
Yeah, change up, and you know, young hitter, anxious, wants to get it done. We saw that when he swung at the first pitch with runners at first and third, 1 out off of Brian Dunsing, the lefty.
One more may be enough. Orioles have 10 hits in the game, out hitting the Twins now 10-4. May will take a casual look back.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You talked about the fact, I mean, the Orioles came in with the highest runner in scoring position number in baseball at 306, but that's dropped since, I think the highest they got was 321, and that's, so it's dropped not precipitously because it's easy. But I think, you know, you look yesterday, 4 for 18 for the Orioles. The Twins were 1 for 9. They went 6 for 34 in that 4-game series in Kansas City, and you know, good pitching can do that. You can get unlucky.
And all close games, too.
Yeah, exactly. You can have, you know, anxious at bats. It'll be a combination of so many things. But the bottom line is you can't score runs when you don't get the hits.
Count is 1-2. Paredes waiting on it. Jimmy will take the pitch outside. Again, he wanted him to take a look at that, see if he could get him to go after it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that's what the changeup does, and you know, for May, that's his best pitch. I mean, you know, not that he doesn't have a good fastball, but he sells the changeup real well. Great arm speed.
Paredes will go down swinging.
See, that's it again. So, you know, you're swinging at the arm, and you know, you see 94 early on, and then this is just not loading away. He's pretty much belt high in the middle of the plate. But the arm speed fools him. You just don't pick up the speed. You can't time it. That's what pitching and trying to destroy the timing of the hitter.
Adam Jones will try and get him in. Adam 1 for 2 off May. His home run came in the 6th inning, the 11th of the year. 1 for 4 in the ball game. Potential go ahead here in the 10th inning on at second base. David Lowe with good speed. Dozier trying to hold him close, the second baseman. Jones rips it. Has he done it again? Way back, and not this time. It is a foul ball. Hit as high or higher than the one he put off the fair pole for a home run.
Yeah, curveball that stays down and in. We told you about Trevor May, 4-pitch pitcher, and this ball is launched. Way foul.
The putter package together of all the balls that have been hit here, the home runs and a couple of foul balls. We have just had some balls clocked here in this game. But that's a strike. 0-1 delivery. That'll be down low, 1-1. White Sox beat Toronto tonight 4-2 in that great matchup we talked about earlier. Oriole closer Zach Britton is ready to go. Pitch on the way, and that's fouled off. So May will get ahead here. Ball and 2 strikes. Low edging off second. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Jones. Good stop made as Suzuki kept that one under the feet of Adam Jones. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles after the lead. They had it in the first on the Manny Machado home run. Came right back though. The Twins did. Home run by Hunter, tie it up first inning. And the Twins had a lead on the home run by Hicks in the second. Orioles tied it up in the sixth. And that's where we are. Again, the 2-2 delivery. Jones fouls it off again. Bobby Dickerson can't get far enough down the line.
A lot of targets tonight.
Gee.
Well, he's there, even though he's not in the coaching box, just to get a good angle. Of course, David Lowe with great speed is going to be going on contact. But in case it's a one hop line drive, he may stop him.
Try it again here, 2-2. Adam Jones trying to get Lowe in. And the 2-2 delivery to him. Adam will go to short with this one. Santana's got it. And the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Bottom of the 10th. 2-2. Machado leading off the ball game. Bottom of the first, Hunter. Watch where these are hitting the bat. I mean, that's right on the sweet spot. Hicks, his went 431. Jones off the fair pole, 3 miles high. Every one of those right where you would want to hit a baseball if you're a hitter.
Chicks dig the long ball. That's all I got to say.
That's why you were a pitcher.
It's not an original line. I didn't dig it, but
there are the Orioles home runs, Machado and Jones.
Didn't Greg Maddux say that in some ad years ago?
Yes, he did.
And of course, he didn't throw too many long balls.
No.
Which is why he won over 350 games.
Tommy Hunter's going to work his second inning. Kurt Suzuki will lead it off against him. Suzuki's got an 0 for 3. And Santana and Dozier at the top of the order. We were looking at that Burley Sale game in Chicago. They both pitched complete games. Burley took the loss, 4 runs, 9 hits over 8. Sale, 2 runs, 6 hits over 9. And Sale got the win. There were no relievers.
Well, he was going for the record.
Let's see. Sale did not get it. He had 6 strikeouts. He was going for the record of consecutive game strikeouts. Didn't get it. He had 6 in the ball game.
Yeah, he had had 8 consecutive and
10 or over.
Yeah.
And how long did the game take? An hour and 54 minutes.
Well, some of our fellow broadcasters.
Real happy. They're out eating. They're dining. Suzuki ground ball to third is foul.
Well, Ken Harrelson, he's about 180 miles, 190 miles away. He's on the road for hours. Either way, I mean, he's already been on the road. Steve Stonehenge, who knows where he is?
Stonehenge is.
He's eating one of his many restaurants he owns.
That's right. Yeah. Dining the appetizer at one place, entree at another, pasta at another. That'll be fouled away. Crowd has seen a heck of a ball game here with some outstanding pitching. The bullpens have not been touched. O'Day and Hunter have given up nothing. Dunsing, Feed, Perkins, May on the other side. Hughes went 6 1/3, the starter for the Twins, while Chen worked 7 for the Orioles. And Suzuki will take the pitch up high from Tommy. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Kurt Suzuki, a lot of games against the Orioles over the years. .228 career hitter against Oriole pitching. And he will pop that one up off the fist. Manny Machado. All-Star Game reserves, of course, were named. We showed you the American League, National League. There are the infielder reserves and some real good ones there, led by Chris Bryant, the youngster in Chicago, is going to be a big story there. Others in the outfielders and catchers, McCutcheon from Pittsburgh, of course, made it. A.J. Pollock's having a great year. Yadier Molina, the Cardinal leader and catcher, will be on that roster. Santana trying to drag a bunt.
Yeah. Get on some way. Get over, score, go home. You know, the Orioles bullpen, what, 3rd? Twins 10, but Dunsing came in through 1 pitch, got a double play. That's probably, at least at this point, the biggest pitch of the game.
That's going to be a base hit into left center field. Adam Jones cuts it off and rifles it in to hold Santana. So Santana gets a 1-out single here in the 10th.
So now you got a little bit of speed. Either Paul Molitor and got some options. Tommy just has to do it. I mean, he's certainly capable of it. He just, you know, the last time he let Rosario get a running lead, just stop him.
Top of the order. This is Dozier with Hunter on deck. Dozier a 1 for 5 off Tommy Hunter. The infield, a double play depth.
And it's not like Danny Santana can't steal bases. 20 out of 24 last season.
Pitch will miss.
Wow.
Dozier's not extended his hit streak against the Orioles. He's got a 9-game hit streak against the O's coming into the ball game, but the Orioles have held him. He's picked up a walk. Only time he's been on. Hunter's delivery. Trying to move it inside corner. Missed. 2-0. Left-hander Brian Mattis in the bullpen for the Orioles.
Yeah, well, he's on for Joe Mauer if the game gets that far. And of course, you got the guy leading the American League in extra base hits, hitters count, pull hitter.
2-0 the count, short lead at first.
And the other thing is, you know, the first 4 times up, they put the shift on. They can't do it now because of the runner. So there's a nice little hole in the left field for Dozier. That's where he hits it.
Twins now with 5 hits. Orioles 10. Dozier way back left field. Goodbye. Home run. Ball game over. every one of the 5 home runs hit in this game right off the sweet spot. Dozier, no exception in a game winner.
Yeah, you're trying to drive a ball 2-0, trying to get a good pitch to hit, and this is what happens if you don't make a quality pitch to a guy that, this is home run number 17. And this is a guy that makes a living driving the ball, and he knew right off the bat, as you mentioned, Gary, it going out of here. Line drive into the seats. So they're now, 26 and 15 at home. They get the big hits tonight when they count.
17 home runs for Dozier, and the Twins come away with a victory, an extra inning win. Game 2 tomorrow. Kevin Gausman on the mound against Kyle Gibson. Our coverage on MASN 2 at 7:30. O's Extra presented by Jeep, followed by game coverage at 8. This has been a MASN presentation. O's Extra presented by PNC. Jim and Rick coming up right now, and a lot to take a look at. There's some good baseball played here. Orioles go 1-2 in extra inning games, while the Twins improve to 4-3. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew here in Minneapolis, I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu.